Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is part 2 of the 1862 After Action report that I'm doing. Once again, with me, I have Salt,
Hello again.
and I have Tephra,
Hello.
and we're gonna resume here, talking about this amazing game where we are the best. This is the current map. This is 1866 after adjustments, so all the builds are in. And I guess we should get right cracking back into it, huh?
Indeed.
Yep. Two of
Alright.
us are having really, really great games here, as you can see.
And then we have Salt, who,
Yeah.
well, he got
Salt
buried.
is here as well.
He got buried in the salt mines,
I am
as it were.
having a game.
You are indeed
I think
playing
that's the
diplomacy
best
in this
way I
position.
can put it right now.
Well, on that note, I guess
It's
we'll get.
one of the games of all time.
Yep,
It
one of
is
those
certainly
games.
going.
Well, I'm gonna get going back over to my position. So recap is that nobody likes me because I'm close to winning. You need 15 centers on a map to win. North America goes down like from about here up. The maps overlap, obviously. So like up here and up to there, that's North America. I need 15 centers within these lines to win the map. And by winning the first map, I would win the game. In fact, grand champion, it would be a great honor. And so far, this amount of centers is 12, if memory recalls, because one or no, that's 11. Never mind. I have 11 centers. But on the bright side, I have a lot of centers here I can take because there are no English units nearby. There's one army and one fleet that can defend these 3 centers. There. I have armies all nearby, like here, like in fleets and everything that can get at them and take those dots. And other than that, I just need to find one other dot. And would you look at that? There's a dot right there. Maybe I can get it. Those are generally my thoughts. I do keep attempting to throw off my enemies, which is everybody at this point, with fake press or whatever, promising to turn or whatever, make bad moves. The only person I'm really doing honest press at this point on the continent is England, and my press with England is basically, hey man, there's not really any point in trying to stop me anyways, right? So you might as well just take all your units and go this way. Which I don't know about you guys, but I think that would be a great idea if England did that, right?
I'm sure England. I don't know. If I were England, I'd still just defend the dot, but it's pretty good for you at least.
I feel like if I'm England here, trying to defend a dot is what I would do. Because if you're it depends on the mindset you have as a general. If you're trying to win the game for yourself, then England in this position has no motive to do anything but rat tactics. But if they're looking at this from the perspective of how do we best get an English victory, then what they should be doing is moving units into Europe or Africa to bully the continents.
Yes. An important caveat about this point is that the English general in America is basically gone, and so the orders being entered for English America is whichever of the monarch in Europe and Africa or the general in Asia gets to it first. Whichever of those two puts the enters in or orders in first gets to set the orders for this. And so I am also, when I say on my press on the continent, I am actually not doing press with the English general in the Americas. I'm doing press between Washington and London, which I think is an important caveat.
Yeah, it's
That
always
is an important
rough.
caveat.
Yes.
I think England's position here in like Canada is so bad that they should probably abandon it in the first place. Maybe deny you like 1 or 2 dots
I mean, you
in like
can't.
one phase in the
There's
process of going away.
Yeah, I mean, you can delay me on Halifax for 1 year, realistically,
Yeah.
without investing, because if I want this dot, so I move these units up the coast, and then I have this one here, and it's just 2. And the only way you can defend that one dot
Yeah.
is with 2 units, and it's just not worth it at that point. Getting Toronto, I mean, I have a few options here. One of the ones I can do is like
It's just
this,
free,
like
pretty
you
much. You just support yourself into there.
yeah, or I have this one just support me into Toronto like this. Or what I do if I don't delete the map. You do like this type of thing. I mean, there are like a dozen different ways to take both of these centers in a single year with no way to stop me. There's nothing. The best use for this army might be to walk this way and see if you can't snipe some Russian dots. It's that bad.
Poor Russia.
Well, that's what they
But
get
yeah,
for
if I were
having
England
2
here,
units.
I would just not worry about this area at all anymore. Those dots are pretty much gone eventually.
Yes. And my other concern in this position, obviously, now that I mentioned all the northern stuff, is that there is the possibility of France and Mexico getting their act together and coming up here and preventing me from ever taking Lawrence. The way that works is they move up like this. These units eventually get set up in like New Mexico and West Texas and Indianapolis, or no, Indian territory. Yes. You move the fleet up here to Houston and you defend that, and this is a pretty impenetrable line that I cannot cross. If they get all their units set up, Portland, Mexico, West Texas, Indian Territory, I can only apply 4 pressure to this line at any given time. 4 because Memphis can cut, and then I can have these 3 attack. So yeah, I have I'm on a bit of a clock here with regards to the South. I need to find a way to get Lawrence, because if I can get it right, if I have the unit here, then I have 1 to support it. I have here to support this. I have a unit in Memphis to cut that unit. The end result of that is if they cut St. Louis, they can apply 1, 2, 3 pressures onto me. Eventually, maybe they can like take Nevada, but then I'll take whatever this is, RKY. And it goes on, but if I get the long and short of it is if I get into that dot, then I keep it. If I don't, then I don't get it. It's a lot of talking for get dot or lose.
It is a pretty crucial dot for getting to like the other side. Without it, you can get the Canadian dots, but that only gets you up to 14, right? So you need to find your one other dot somewhere else.
Yes, there is one other concern from this Union position that because of the multi-board rules and because there is tie rules, if someone on another board is able to match the pace set in North America, then a tie is forced, and that prolongs the game, which gives them even more time than that they may not otherwise have to get to that stalemate line and block you out.
Yes, that's an important point. If you want to win a map, you have to not only do you have to have 15 centers, but if someone else has 15 centers, you have to have 2 more than them to win your map. So 15 to 14, the 15 wins. 16 to 15, the 16 doesn't win. You have to get to 17. So,
yep.
Yeah, and as we've seen in like other past games, if you hit your win and you aren't like prepared for that, if you tie somebody else, it can collapse your entire game if you aren't ready for a coalition. As you get the win, you have to like make sure nobody else gets it at the same time.
Yeah, you have to.
You become the crisis.
If you're overstretching yourself really far to try to get to a win, then yeah, you have to be careful because you might get tied and collapse. Luckily, the collapsing part of the tie is not too much of a concern with me because the position is really solid once I get to this line. I get about here, and then I don't get much further, but there's very little that Mexico and France can do to get anything at me at this point. The biggest concern would be some rogue fleet coming in from this direction. But with the amount of builds I'm going to have and the amount of armies I already have, I'm actually more likely to have fleet control over West Atlantic and then into Bahamas, and then maybe this is how I win, but it's not. Nothing's very clear at that point.
Well, the other option would be fleet control over the West Atlantic and then sniping Caracas.
Yes, that is an option.
Does Caracas count
that's
for
North America? Yeah, it counts for North America.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, Colombia,
crazy.
Impressed during the game and after, Colombia said that their first idea in this game was to try to win North America and help someone win South America after them, which works because they start with, like, all of these centers are North America. All of them are technically North America. So is Honolulu in Hawaii. So that's a good base to work with. And the reason that Colombia didn't, I think, is obvious.
Yeah, it's too hard to get more than you.
It's just very difficult. I had a really good start, both because I played well, and I try to avoid pumping up my ego, but I played really well. I'm the best. And and then CSA got killed instantly. Which credit to
CSA
Columbia.
player was
Yeah, Columbia did try to warn CSA about that, but us Americans got to
You
stick
wouldn't
to
do that to them.
No, I
They
am.
just happened to lose all their dots in a tragic
They slipped.
accident. I'm sure. You
Well,
know.
well, you see,
They
the last time as Union I tried to attack a CSA, I actually lost that fight, so I know better now, and I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah. You've learned
I
and
learned
grown.
I learned my lesson and grew as a man, and I'm definitely not going to attack you. Anyways, yeah, that happened. The other wild card here, I guess I've gone through England and Mexico, France. There's not much to say about Russia at this point. They're not really relevant to me, other than the fact that they are about to get cleaved in half by Mexico. I have to imagine, right? So, I mean,
You would think that.
if the
One would
game
hope.
if the game continues and if Mexico has a brain, then Mexico will go in this direction.
They have a brain, but do they have glasses?
Do they see?
Yeah, we need to quickly give Mexico some glasses, give them some shades. Wait, that's okay. I just cut the entire board. 1 second. All right, there we go. Give them some glasses like this. Do you see that dot? I don't know. You definitely have to though. Let's see. So the other thing, the last wild card is Spain. Spain is a player, Red Dwarf, who is a bit eccentric and can have some unique ideas and funny plays. We saw that earlier in the After Action report with like his convoy to New York City and then convoying out of it to Charlotte before I kicked him right out of it, obviously. So if I can manage to convince him by any means necessary to do something where I'm like, hey, this would be pretty funny. I'm not going to win anyways. And then, maybe I do win. Or, if I convince him to throw to me for some reason, not going to happen independently, but you never know. I mean, there's always sorts of things, always shenanigans you can pull in diplomacy games. So that's the other wild card.
Yeah.
With all that said about the North American position, let's go over to our other very nice position in Asia, and we'll ignore this big blob. In the center
You don't
for now.
want to do mine? I think mine's like pretty solid here.
Yeah,
win
but
any time now.
But there's a better France over here in Asia. Wouldn't you believe it?
There is.
That's like
So
50% me if you want to like be technical with it.
So as we can see here, I have now built, for the first time in this game, I have built a fleet. Which, I mean, it was after stabbing Japan, but it is a fleet.
A flotilla.
The other thing is the maneuvering around the Indian subcontinent. England has 1 unit defending 2 centers. And as we remember from last time, this is an England player who has burnt the goodwill of everyone on this board and multiple other boards.
Talented.
There is no hope for this. There is some hope for this subcontinent if they make sane moves. However, again, this England is not sane.
Is there a chance the fleet in the south there helps them out at all?
There is a chance that it helps them.
The problem, I mean, yeah, I guess you have to go here basically to hold Calcutta.
They have to go there because that also reestablishes controlled territory over Bombay. Because me being in the Himalayas, that's no longer a garrison. Yeah. That is one option, but the other option is wrapping around to Burma.
Yes.
And putting a unit in Himalayas there.
Kind of try something like this.
And what that does, something like that. Because from there, I can sweep into the subcontinent with a lot more unit density on the front lines.
Yeah, like this, or you move Himalayas, you support with Burma. You have options.
Yeah, it's more options. It's a slower move set, but it's a more guaranteed move set. if he moves, to Bay of Bengal,
Yes. And the other thing in factor
it
of this
becomes
more,
the better moves.
I was going to say the other factor in favor of the more guaranteed and slower moveset is still remaining the fact that you and I have been talking across the Pacific for a while,
Yes,
and have kind
and
of
we have
agreed to,
agreed.
stay out of
Yeah.
the way.
My position doesn't need to rush to the finish line because the natural stalemate lines in Asia are already in the process of crumbling. The big
Yes.
two stalemate lines for China are, well, the big three are breaking into Indochina, breaking through the Himalayas, and breaking through the Sea of Japan.
Yes.
China has to break into two of those three areas if they want to win the game. And I've broken into India, and I have, at this point, Japan is crippled. There are two Russian pirate fleets in the Japanese home islands, and those Russian fleets are not going to help Japan. Because why would they?
Well, you'd imagine that they want to hold on to Asia as long as possible. Maybe create some openings for their general in Europe to pull something out because, unrelated, this is actually not a bad position. You can support yourself into Copenhagen like this. You
Yeah.
have some good odds here. You have some good fighting
all
odds.
things considered, the Russian position in Europe is pretty solid from here.
Yeah, this actually, given Italy's problems with this army, this actually might be the favorite position to win in Europe. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a plurality favor, obviously. I'm not sure if you prefer like this one, or maybe you still like Italy. Maybe you think there's some potential in Prussia, but it's up there. It's not bad.
But yeah,
All
Europe
their
is
neighbors are
not a
pretty
done
weak
game.
in the east, at
Yeah.
least. So Prussia's got a good chance.
And the other thing is that Russia also has that deal with me ongoing, where because I took OMS and shook hands with the Russia-Europe player, that I wouldn't be going any further, and we were friends now, Russia-Asia is beholden to the whims of the monarch.
Indeed.
So Russia is working with me, similarly to how England is working with the Union over in North America.
Not quite. England is not taking any of my moves. At least the army in Rupp will try to exist, I think. But
yeah,
I mean,
it's not like the Russian fleets
similar.
are much more of a vassal than England America's is. But the other thing, the bigger issue is that Japan being in the West Pacific Ocean now is to their advantage because it can help support Hokkaido, it can help support Nagasaki. So, despite the fact that they're about to lose Edo, it's not the worst thing in the world. If they can get a center from somewhere else, but we will see.
Pretty big if.
The other thing that's working with me here is that the colonial powers on this map have not made the realization that the powers in North America have. The North America powers have at this point recognized that the Union is a solo threat and something needs to be done about it. And they have put aside their differences to try and stop that in its tracks. Over in Asia, as of the last move state, England was fighting France and Spain. France was fighting England and Spain was fighting France and England. There is zero coordination between the colonial powers. It is mayhem, it is indecipherable, and it is not my problem.
Put some lightning
All
bolts
I
around
have
there.
to do is take the free lunch that India is and figure out how to get into the Sea of Japan. Because that fleet in the Sea of Japan is the last thing that is holding me back from just blowing through this game. If I can get 2 strength on the Sea of Japan, the game is effectively over, and it's a matter of when, not if.
Yeah, you just break into Japan, you take everything, and once you get here, it's just done. There aren't enough dots to realistically hold your advance. The only thing at that point that can stop you is a tie, but even then, with a tie, you're still eventually going to win because your position is that unassailable.
Yeah, it's just, this is an unbreakable China.
Yeah, there's just no one in the game that can really touch this at all. It's really
In fact,
nice.
the
Well-
only point at which this could have been touched was that crucial final year where I was wrapping up Russia in the mainland, where France had their raider fleet and Japan had a really good stab position. And the fact that they did not stab then is what made this position unbreakable. Which there is a lesson to be learned there about letting a potential future rival solidify their position before going in on them.
It turns out just because someone says that they're going to be friends with you forever doesn't mean they always will be. And so you might want to take action to ensure that they're forced to, comply with their otherwise friendly demeanor.
There is
I
but
think
one
this was-
favorable moment, and the great art is to seize it.
Yep.
I think this is probably
wanna-
a thing
that's my
both France and
Discord.
Japan. Oh, true, it is.
Yeah, that's my yeah. I have a quote from Napoleon in my Discord. Obviously, come on now.
God.
Did you quote that from my Discord profile? Did you just quote that independently from Napoleon?
Yes, I did. I quoted
Okay,
it from your Discord profile.
yeah. That's
That's
Bonaparte. All right.
hilarious.
It's correct.
And they did not seize that moment. And ironically, it was the French that failed to seize the moment. Napoleon III did not seize the moment.
Napoleon III's lackey did not. His inadequate
Yes,
subordinates, his generals, which were to blame for all of his failures.
Of course, naturally.
Yes.
No one else, of course.
But yeah, that's about everything for me. It's an unbreakable position, and it's mostly just a matter of playing the long game. There is like an outside potential, like because I have enough units in my backline that I do just have freestanding armies that, because I've done so well in making this position unbreakable, I do have like Army Irkutsk can just go off and do other things now. I'm free to paint the map because that's just how unbreakable this position is from here.
Well, Tephra, it sounds like you and I are both pretty good players, and we've had a really good grasp on our positions in these continents. So we brought in.
Yes.
Obviously, I was thinking that we could go check in on our third, the other person in this game,
Wow.
who also I have to
Yes,
imagine
the-
has been, if not dominant a position, he at least probably has a pretty good position. One I'd imagine that's a favorite to win. So let's look at Europe and see how the French
I
position
think,
looks.
yeah, it's looking pretty pretty good, I think. We're gonna win any turn now, really.
Yeah. So Salt, I think. Let's see. How many dots do you have here in Europe? You have 1, 2.
I think it's a cool
3.
like 5
Well, no.
dots.
Well, no.
That's
Salt. Look.
plenty.
Look. There's 5 dots, right? 5 dots. That means
Right.
you're only missing 1 to win.
True. That's all I need.
There we go.
I just got
What-
one more person, and that's game for me.
There we go. One more dot needed to win, right there. That's how that works. So what's it gonna be, Salt? What's the plan?
Yeah. So we can just like go around France, and talk about each of the. I wouldn't say friends. We don't really have friends in France. Neighbors is a neutral term. We have people that want my dots now, and people that are willing to wait a turn before they try to take my dots.
Wow.
So yeah. Prussia is like pretty scary right now. We've been fighting the entire game, but I've been kind of surviving by just being too annoying to kill here. Prussia has been trying for Brussels and still hasn't gotten in Brussels. And it's to the point where I've actually like pulled units off of this border a little bit. Yeah, I'm still able to defend this if I just support the fleet in the channel into Brussels every time. And the fact that I don't even like have to do this, but like I just threaten it. And Prussia knows that I'm going to do this pretty much every single time, just because that's what's been happening the entire game. So now Prussia's finally kind of maybe given up on this for a little while, and now they're doing other things. So Rome is the big one because Italy has also been on the once France's dots now side of things. So yeah, I haven't really like. Prussia stabbing Italy is something I've been encouraging and pressed for a while, but I don't think it was like I don't think them stabbing Prussia was was a result of my press. It was just something that happened at a very convenient time for me, and now Italy is all has to scramble back to defend this, which allowed me to grab Marseille back from them. So now I'm rebuilding the front line here, and Paris can defend that dot if they want to. So Italy probably doesn't feel like it's worth it for going after me, and Zurich is really threatened. So Zurich probably gets tapped regardless here, and you don't want to support from Zurich either, because then it gets walked in from. So Italy, while it does look pretty threatening to me, Italy probably doesn't go after me here. And we've kind of negotiated a little bit of a peace, though with Spain dying, Italy probably goes back in on me whenever they get a chance. Spain isn't as relevant as they were. They are kind of collapsing right now, which I don't want to say I told you so, but I did tell them so. I've stolen 1 dot off of Spain. That's probably it for me. I could kind of maybe go after Portugal from them, but it just doesn't really feel worth it. I'm kind of hoping Spain holds out against the Italians for a little while longer. We'll see how that goes. I don't love Spain's chances, to be honest, and England seems ready to kill them any moment now.
I wonder
especially
what
with
could have
the-
led England to that conclusion.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I don't
really
know.
wonder. Yeah,
It's really hard to say
Uh,
what Spain could have done to make England such such a big hater of them.
who would have guessed? Honestly,
There is, as an aside, there is also a mechanic that we should note at this point, thanks to Austria here. We've gone over that Austria is played by Ego, and Ego is, they don't enter moves all the time. 1862 has a unique way of running when players repeatedly NMR that I haven't seen in other variants, where Superstition will just take over the country and run gunboat orders for them. And within the first 24 hours of a phase, you can go in and make requests of the gunboat country. And that will be what the country does. And this is not immediately relevant to Austria, because I cannot tell the difference between Ego's moves and Superstition's gunboat, mostly because I just didn't pay much attention to Europe. But it does become
also,
important
it's
later
just,
on.
there's other reasons
Yeah.
why you also kind of have a hard time telling the difference between Ego's moves and gunboat moves.
Yeah.
Namely, the lack
I
of
will
what
press.
say-
Ego normally does.
There is another power in Europe that will eventually get gunboated, and it's going to have game impact.
Yep. Europe
Foreshadowing.
is it's a fun time. I really recommend everyone to play in Europe. It's just the most wonderful region where
Well, I
things are
actually-
easy.
I played as Prussia in Europe one time in 1862, and it was going really well. But my main ally was Austria, and then Austria, that Austria wasn't Ego, but they decided to play like Ego and NMR, 3 times, and I died.
Yep.
Yikes.
Because I
Yeah.
had sort of kind of been rotating my stabs across, to Russia, to England, then to France. And, eventually people are kind of like, let's just kill this guy. And I died. It was not very good. Dying is not very fun. It's quite bad.
Who would have thought?
Bad for
1862
your
tends
health.
to be very, I want to say punishing, but it doesn't really forgive if you make any hard.
I don't know. I mean, I think
This
you can make some big
makes,
mistakes
I
and come
think.
back from them.
It's happened to me before too, but I don't know. It's very hard to do that sometimes, especially because I think my position should have died here, and the only reason it's not dead is because I had those extra built from the colonial
Far East.
areas that had nowhere else to go. So I've been operating at 5 units here when I've had 3 centers, and that's what's kind
Yes.
of kept me afloat here. And even then, like, it has been a battle just to keep what I have, and that's, I don't know. There's a lot of moments in 1862 that are kind of like that, where your position should be dead, and then just kind of brawls
It's on.
along regardless.
Yeah, France has done a very good job this game of playing up to or down to competition on every continent. It's not like a top
Well,
threat
there's
on any of the
one
three
exception.
continents.
One exception.
One exception, yes.
I blame Spain for
but-
that.
Yep. But in the Far East, the France-Asia player is the second favorite to win from here. And in North America, the France-Americas player probably has the best position outside of Union, I would say.
Yes. The problem
because
is
Mexico
that having
has to devote so many of their units to holding that stalemate line.
yes.
And France can just pirate the Caribbean if they so desire.
Yeah. The only problem with France in the Americas, in North America, is that having the second best position to Union does not really mean much.
Yep.
Yeah, because Union is just so huge in the region.
And
Like, the second best
for-
position is like half the size you have, I think.
To be clear, the what happens when continents end is the country that wins blacks out everywhere. So like if England wins Africa, then England everywhere blacks out. All the centers turn neutral and all the units turn into neutral units. So the ramifications for that for France and North America is that the only way anyone other than me wins in North America is if somebody wins South America. It would have to be Colombia. If Colombia, because of no, and here's why. If Argentina wins South America, then everything south of this line blacks out, but Colombia still exists, right?
Yeah.
So the way for France to win in North America is for Colombia to win South America. And then what happens is France can like try to walk units down and take the centers and eventually try to get to 17 centers to overcome the tie down into here.
Yeah.
Right? That's how France wins. It's very high. Not high. It's a very low
There have to be a
probability.
lot
event.
of different things that go wrong for you for that to be a major threat.
Yeah.
Yes,
At
I would
this
have to be
point,
tied for
it
quite
is
a while.
it's a matter of when, not if,
Well, not quite.
in North America.
If I take Lawrence, then it is a matter of when, not if. If I don't, then there's still a game to be played.
If you want a real matter of if, then we can look back to
Yes.
Europe here.
Europe, where nobody has a winning position.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, nobody has an outright winning position, but there are some favorites.
Yes.
France, right?
Some
Yep.
favorites.
Definitely gonna be
We
France.
will
I
see
think.
how that favorite does in the coming
Yes.
years.
The one major thing that has changed from last time to now is that I'm no longer trying to work with Spain against Britain here. Africa is kind of just lost. So like me and Britain have this pact now to where I will help him win that area. So this unit in Cam just like kind of does whatever Britain wants now. And in exchange for that, Britain will help me win the fight up in the north here. So like their fleets will help me against Prussia. And that would be huge because now not only do I not have to fight them here, but like the extra help against Prussia and the help on the coastline here, because Prussia still doesn't have any fleets in that area at all. That would really help push the front line forwards, and Spain also just isn't a threat at all anymore. So I can kind of slowly bring this position back if this aligns with the Britain holds.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a pretty optimistic take, Salt. I'm not sure it's gonna work out for you. There are some pretty big positions
Probably
in Europe.
not knowing
The
how
Italian-
the past of this game is going.
The Italian position is pretty good. The Ottomans' position is pretty good. I mean, there's some vulnerabilities in the south, but that's about it. And Russia, I think, has a decent chance to, they can try to do like this to take Sochi. They can move the Moscow army to Lithuania and move the army down here, and they get into northern Prussia this way. And Ego is not doing much on Austria, which means that Bucharest could actually probably do something else, like go down here if they want to pressure Constantinople. There are a lot of options in this position.
I really think the only losing move for Russia from here is if they just deliberately blunder one of their front lines entirely. Like, I feel like
Knowing
that is
how
what it would
Russia
take.
has played in the past here, I wouldn't put it past them.
For those unaware, Russia
Yeah.
in this game is a player called the Last Firebender, Russia Europe that is. So she has a reputation for getting coalitioned and for playing like a dozen games at once. And,
Which is why she gets coalitioned.
to some extent, yeah, it turns out when you play in a dozen games at once, you can't quite play up to your potential in all of them, or any of them, actually, for that matter.
Doesn't always work out.
Your
Yeah.
press suffers.
Quite a bit. So does your ability to recall the position. What a world.
Firebender does have a few other things skill-wise that could be improved on, but that's a different video.
Yeah, I think Firebender at this point has maybe they may not stop doing press entirely, but it's definitely slowed down a lot since the beginning. It's barely a few lines of phase now.
Which is sad, because this is
that's
quite
the
a good
main
position.
thing.
Quite a good Russia position here.
Yeah. I think probably
Yeah, the Ottomans can't fight back at all if Russia decides to attack them.
the Ottomans are still trying to slug their way through Africa. Which,
and they just
if we
let the
scroll
Italians
down-
take one of their home centers.
Well,
No.
it looks like
Do
there's like
anything about it?
one big power in Africa that's inevitably going to consolidate all the dots. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's just me.
the Ottomans trying to still win the Africa board and have Europe be their secondary in this position is
Wrong.
a tactical mistake. And it is a tactical mistake that the Ottomans make in a lot of games, where instead of saying that Africa is going to be the playground that they let the European colonials handle, and they're going to go gank Europe with their giant pile of builds, they instead decide that they want to force through Africa. And the giant pile of builds in Europe that they could be taking from exploiting things like the Austria-Italy dynamics, which is much more open to stabs and Turkish cooperation than vanilla, or the Austria-Russia position, which is much easier for Turkey to work with because they just have a stronger starting presence on the Black Sea. And instead, we keep seeing where the Ottomans they decide they want Africa.
But
And
there's
it
no
keeps not
future.
working out.
There's no future in Africa
I
because
think
what happens here is Ottomans
what
goes,
hap-
ooh, I can take Khartoum, and then France says, no, actually you can't. Stay up there, stay away. And then Ottomans
Yep.
goes and they say, ooh, well, I could take Zanzibar. And I mean, sure, you can take Zanzibar. Where do you? The fleet can't go to Cape though. The fleet is stuck. Can't go anywhere. You can
Yep.
you can
Honestly,
take
the
it.
build
You can take it. You can
did
take it.
not need to be a
Well, here.
fleet.
Well, you can
It's a
take it. You can take it like
misplay.
this. You can take it like this, right? And then you put this Combe fleet into Zanzibar, so you have some play on Cape. But oops, Britain has a
Or-
fleet in Indian Ocean. Ooh, that's sad.
Yep. The Ottomans should not have built that fleet in Ant. What they should have done is
Yeah.
they should have looked at Constantinople, saw that it was open, and built a fleet there instead.
The city of the world's desire, and you could build a fleet in it right there. And oh my God, you can
You
defend
would
yourself.
really hope so that the Ottomans see just like 3 powers surrounding their capital here and do something about it.
I mean, I think
But
you could make
Italy
an-
has been bullying the Ottomans this
So-
entire game, and the Ottomans have yet to counterattack at all.
I mean, you could make a case for Fleet Damascus as well, but it's actually less flexible. I mean, it depends on if Russia's friendly. If you think Russia can be like bought off with Sochi, then maybe you put a fleet here, you pull that fleet out, you put the army back, you put the army like this way, and you play for Athens. But that's splitting hairs. You should play for Europe. You should not be like this. Like what are we doing? What's the point of that fleet? There's no point of that fleet. That fleet just goes off and I don't know. It sits in Africa
Even if
all
you get
game.
a build, then you just get the
They're
dot
deliberate-
taken from
They're
behind you.
overinvested in Africa by multiple builds at this point.
They have one
Like the number of
two,
purely
three,
African
four. One.
The thing is, all of those
These are
centers,
Europe.
other
Yeah.
than Ant, all of those are Europe centers as well.
Yep.
Like,
They
it's
have far more presence there.
it's just a blunder. It's just a positional blunder. But
Fun fact.
I think that's everything that we've covered. Everything that there is to be covered. At this
Slight
point.
correction. Aden is also. This is Africa only. So
Oh, it is.
Cairo and Tripoli. But yeah, I mean Baghdad.
Okay,
Like
so
Okay.
everything above this line.
Yeah.
I have so many lines here. 1 second. We gotta clear the map out.
So
Everything
it's 6 centers
above
for
this
Europe
line.
and 4 Africa.
Yes, so everything above
5.
this line
No,
is Europe.
6 Africa. Well, because they're dual centers, they count as both.
Yes.
So that's Tripoli, Cairo, Damascus, and Baghdad are all
So to be
Mediterranean centers, which means that they're both European and African.
yeah, so to be clear to everybody watching, this is the line. And so everything north is just
That's
Europe,
pure Europe.
everything south is just Africa, and this is both.
Yep.
So Ottomans have a lot of options here, and well, I guess we'll look at moves and see which option they picked. I wonder, guys, which option did they pick after they built the fleet in Madagascar? What do we think?
It's a concern, you know. I guess we'll never know.
All right, onwards we go to moves. It only took us 40 minutes.
Oh my god.
All
Classic.
right. Well, let's ignore the suspense. And oh my God, Ottomans tried to take Khartoum, and France supported them to hold.
Crazy. Who
And
could have seen that
Who
one
could have
coming at
seen
all?
that?
what the?
And
I
then
did
we
not
do
pay
also
any
have the-
attention to this. What the?
Oh, did you not? You hadn't seen the Indian Ocean blockade,
Oh my
had you?
god, what?
I just didn't.
Yeah,
What are
this
they
was-
cooking?
I was busy, and
This was something that I took note of during my time, and I looked at all of this and I said, man, I sure am glad that's not where I am. Because
Yeah.
this, to describe this position as a clusterfuck is generous. This
Yeah,
is...
It's a whole
The
thing.
Ottomans tried to support England into here. The Ottomans tried to support England into the Indian Ocean. Oh, sorry, no, that
no.
wasn't England. They supported
Chile.
Chile.
They
from
supported
the South Pacific.
Chile.
I don't know why
This-
Chile would even go there to begin with, but they actually made the move too, which is crazy.
Yep. And it does bounce with France supporting themselves into there as well.
Yep.
France probably wants, positioning to take English centers in the Indian subcontinent before I take them, because France has to race me for that.
And France can definitely hold those centers if they get there. I promise, guys. It's not like the Chinese are just gonna push a wave of bodies over here and just crush you with armies all along there.
No, there's no way that would ever.
Speaking of wave of
happen.
bodies, remember that DMZ over Yunnan?
Oh, would you look at that?
Oh, what? No, what happened to it? Oh,
Well-
who could have seen that coming?
Well, you know, it turns out that you actually are not like physically bound to obey the agreements you make. You can actually violate the agreements you make with other players. Pretty odd, that one. That they need to patch that one out.
Yeah, that should
One
be
of these
possible.
days.
Yep.
And so funny thing here, I do this, and there was a clause in that DMZ where if we needed to move there, we could clear it with the other person beforehand and get the thumbs up, and it doesn't count as a stab despite it being a DMZ. And that's what I did here. I went to France Asia. I said, hey, I need to move to Yunnan so that I can get units through into Burma to pulverize England. They said, sure thing, and it wasn't a problem.
So
Well, it was a little bit of a problem. But
I think that what may need to be pointed out to France Asia is that the only use case for the army in Yunnan is to support a unit into Burma. But as it turns out, England actually doesn't have an army next to that tile. So
yeah, but it goes into Burma after I take Calcutta. Trust.
yeah.
Surely
and
that's
then,
what that's doing. I
and
mean,
then once
why
Calcutta
would I
gets
pick a
down
fight with
here,
France.
you'll just march all the armies off into the Indian Ocean, as was intended.
Yep, that's definitely what happens at the end of the game.
Supporting in the South
Yeah.
China Sea here is also bold because that if Spain didn't move back, that's a free retreat right to Hanoi. And
Well,
even
you
if
can
you
take it
break
back.
that and fall, it still breaks controlled
It breaks
territory over
all
the
your
entire
control.
region.
Yeah, because you lose.
If we
that.
That's
look
really
at-
risky.
If we look at, again, looking at the Indonesia board state, France stabs Spain here. Well, not stabs, but continues to attack Spain. Spain has attacked England. England is still attacking France. Like I said earlier, the coalition that happened in North America has not been realized in East Asia. It is
I'm sure
a
they'll
soup.
work something out for one of these days.
Yeah, I have to say, I
Listen,
was
it's
around.
Tephra, I was very glad that you had agreed not to contest my win at this point because it meant I didn't have to look at any of this and wonder what was happening. Because it was just not relevant. It's like, you know what? All
Yep.
these cute little Europeans in Asia, they're gonna do their little fighting thing, and it's not gonna matter because eventually China will win. But China's gonna wait until after I win. So like, whatever. It's not
Yep.
even a concern.
And I looked at all of this and I thought to myself, man, I kind of don't want to deal with Indochina because that means that I have to deal with all of this as well. And so I kind of just stayed away from Indochina because I mean, I have my 2 breach points. I only need India or Japan to win, and I have India, and I'm taking Japan.
There you go.
I don't need to worry about this headache of an area.
You
Let's
do just kind of take it, yeah.
Let me just quickly set up a little. Okay. And we'll do
Far
this.
East in,
We'll just
these games are.
just put a sensor.
It's a fun region, but it's
we'll
a
just
mess. I
censor-
got the win over there last game, and it was just like years
Swiss
and
cheese
years
edition.
of brutal like wars over there. It's like you force one fleet out and it has like 6 different ways to retreat that are all horrible in some way.
We'll censor this.
The other thing of note is that Army Irkutsk walks back into OMS.
Sure, Russia won't mind.
And this is where I suddenly become relevant to the Europe board.
Hmm.
As I look at what Russia does here.
They won't mind.
If we,
I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
we
sorry.
pan a little bit to the west.
Huh.
Russia has walked out of Moscow, out of the Black Sea, out of Odessa. They have simply decided that fighting Turkey is not what they want to do.
That's an interesting strategy when you
So-
had like a lot of pressure lined up on them.
Guaranteed dots off of them. At least
Yep.
1, maybe 2 if you got the guesses right.
Yep. And instead, what they do is, they really wanted Copenhagen.
But you don't need
You don't
to.
need the army in St. Petersburg, though. That does nothing for you.
Yeah, no, that is objectively
What
the
is
worst thing that Army
for?
Moscow could have done.
Oh my! Can we go back to Japan for a second? Did they just hold there?
Yeah, they held
yeah,
this
they
and
just
they
held Nagasaki.
convoyed down there.
Uh,
They convoyed down to
come
here,
on.
like in some sort of attempt to hold Edo, I think. But
what is Russia doing?
NMR.
Russia is sleeping.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
Russia is sleeping.
Russia flat out they just NMR'd.
Well, Russia saw
Okay, yeah,
this.
so if
you
Ru-
want
Russia saw what was down
Moscow,
here
you just-
before we censored it, and they were like, "Oh my god!" They passed out.
They hadn't. Don't worry, they wake up for fall. Definitely.
Well, I'm just glad that we censored all of this, so we don't have to look at it anime
Yeah, we still
Yes.
need to worry about it.
Blurred.
It is worth noting. Because they do both. There's a 2 strength bounce over the Indian Ocean, so that was a beleaguered garrison rule.
Yeah, because they tried to move there but couldn't. So
Yep.
they're stuck.
So that sure is something.
Yep.
All right.
Speaking
North-
of which, Brazil just lost their last center in South America.
Yep.
I'm sure Brazil's doing great. They'll
Yeah.
bring it back. I'm sure.
Any day now.
Brazil will win Africa any day now.
Yep. On that note, North America. North America is very fun. I do some of what I talked about before with taking the East Coast. I take an army into New York to push it either direction. I pushed this army up here to Rupp. I think I sold England here on sending their army up towards Russia to I don't know, snipe a dot or like I think maybe I promised them support into Vancouver like this. I think I did that. Yeah, I promised them support into Vancouver. Which is just to avoid them like retreating the army here, and then I have to devote Montreal to it. It gets mildly annoying. I don't want to deal with it. And I move armies down like this.
That
based
French
on,
hold is huge for you.
Yeah, so based on press with Mexico and France, I think that Indian territory will be open. I've promised some really questionable moves to both of these players. And if either of them believes it, then this moveset works out pretty well. Now I'm gonna I'm gonna say press with Mexico and France, and after the game. I'm pretty sure this not happening was actually just a misorder by France. So
That's
sometimes,
yeah, you just get Lawrence now too. That's guaranteed in fall.
yeah. I mean, this is because also Mexico is like, you know
I don't
what?
know why. Yeah, there's not a dot. Did they think
Well,
it was a dot? Maybe.
well, you do that because if France lands here, then you have 3. I can only get 3 realistic. Well, no, actually, I lied. Because
Yeah, but, like
I still
Washington.
never mind. No, I'll completely reset this. This move loses Lawrence because what happens is they set up right. Oh no, technically okay. I got to
If
reset
they
everything
didn't do
again.
that, they would have
With
three. They'd have
with
3 on it, and you'd
with
have.
this move set, this move not happening does lose Lawrence. If I had moved here, then I would have 3. I would have Memphis. Then I'd be able to cut here. I'd be able to push in for Lawrence and mop up St. Louis later, right? Given this
Yeah.
moveset I took with the risks, though, this moveset not happening does single-handedly lose Lawrence. But they move Portland up here because they want to take Victoria. But like, I don't know why you would do it. Like, you don't have you don't have the units for it. The only way you have the units for
No,
this is
sending
if
the
you
army
divert.
there is misplay. The Russia stab is good, but maybe
No.
wait until fall.
I mean, you have to like, I don't know. The way you do the stab is really weird, right? Because you need like maybe I don't even know honestly. I don't think you can
I
stab
would
Russia.
I would use like the fleets on it, but the army should be like exclusively used to support hold
Well, no, you can't. You
Lawrence.
can't stab Russia here because if you piss off Russia, they might decide to just cut you here, and then you just lose. Right?
Yeah,
You just lose.
true.
It's the ambitious play, and it's
You just can't risk it.
if Mexico wants to win, you do need to stab Russia at some point, but now is not that point because what you need to do is you need to dig this army all the way up to New Mexico before you can do it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
Yeah,
complications.
well,
The other thing
congrats on your win in North America.
Hoorah.
Well, hold on a moment. Let's look at South America.
Oh, look at that.
Is this the phase?
No.
Not
Okay,
yet.
it'll happen.
We're not foreshadowing anything, guys.
It'll
I
happen
promise.
soon.
The
course
other
not.
thing to keep in mind is that I actually can't win North America this phase unless England lets me because they can hold Halifax with this bounce, and I physically cannot get units up there fast enough to force it this turn. I am constantly doing a lot of press with England to try to convince them just to give it to me early, anyways. And the problem with pressing with Brown is that they're kind of. I mean, I don't want to. Okay, I'm not going to care. I was going to compare them to Ego, but they're actually a lot better than Ego. But they're just very stubborn, right? So
Their press style is belligerent.
yes, so it is
stubborn mostly, but
it is
yeah.
difficult to convince Brown to do anything that they don't already perceive to be in their best interest. I have had somewhat of a hand of it, somewhat of a hand in it, just based on like taking all these dots and whatever without too much fuss. But there's a line. At some point, you can't really convince someone to do dumb stuff anymore, and I'm kind of reaching that line here with England based on what I've already gotten them to do.
It is important to note that that line varies heavily from person to person.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't
Some
think.
players can be pushed a lot and be convinced to do really dumb things. Others will not do anything you want at all.
Offering someone a bribe to get them to do dumb stuff tends to push that boundary, even if you don't pay that bribe out.
Yeah.
Because as we have gone over earlier, you do not need to fulfill someone else's part of a deal, as long as you get your own stuff first.
You can just do it.
Deals don't have to be what's the word for it?
Honored.
Binding. Yeah, honored. You don't have to follow through always. Some players
remember how I say I only want OMS. I'm not going to go into Asia, into Europe, and then I see Russia do this moveset.
Well,
and I think to myself,
well, you moved.
It's
You only moved. You only
security
moved.
force.
You only moved into Omsk because you thought Russia might try to take it with Moscow. So this is just a defensive move, really.
Yeah, this was a defensive move.
Right?
This was a defensive move when I inputted it, and then I saw this Russia moveset.
Yeah, Moscow St. Pete is
and
like.
I think to myself,
Russia is asking you to take Moscow.
This
They're inviting
is
you in.
this is rock munching behavior. They are eating rocks with this moveset.
I'm sure nothing bad will happen to
But why do you do this
Moscow at
and
all.
this? Just move it to Lithuania. The upside is so much better. You take Warsaw next
If
phase.
you're
You get a dot.
stabbing Prussia, you have to
Listen,
move
See,
there. Move there as well. You have
listen.
to do both.
Odessa,
Listen,
Odessa
not
to Ukraine
only
is one thing.
this is fine
Black
because
Sea to Odessa,
this is all fine.
Black
What you
Sea to
do is
Odessa is
you go here, you take Warsaw, you have 2 in Königsberg, you put the fleet into Copenhagen so you can cut that, you can take Königsberg next turn, and all of a sudden you just have an enormous position in Central Europe. Prussia's dead.
I
You
would
just
have loved
stumble.
that.
You just stumble into that. Accidentally you stumble into like a win in Europe. You just accident. You don't even have to try. You just
Prominent
I won.
moves from them? Oh my gosh. Sign me up.
Just by accident.
So
Yep.
Odessa is one thing. Moscow to St. Petersburg is another thing. Black Sea to Odessa.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Maybe they're covering it in case
No,
the Ottomans dotted.
I don't. I think this is actually not a terrible move because what this does, because Ottomans actually cannot put a fleet onto Black Sea without builds, and they can't put. And what they really need is to force it. To force it, you need to have 2. So you'd have to build in Constantinople, move to Ankara, and put another one in. Right. I don't see there being much value to having a fleet here as opposed to here. You still have the ability to bounce them if they build. But by having your fleet back here, you make Ottomans much more likely to pull some of the units west and more likely to cooperate with you in pushing into Austria, for example. So I actually think this isn't a terrible thing. If Moscow is not going to Caucasus, then this is probably the right move, right? Now the fact that Moscow went to St. Pete means like I don't understand.
Moscow North is easily the worst move here. Like on the entire map, probably.
I mean, Chile did try to move to the Indian Ocean. I censored it, but like this was quite a useful unit that you could have used to like do anything else, and you chose to just send it halfway across the world for
you
no
could have even
reason.
just walked into a French
Chile.
You could have just taken Wellington.
Yeah, right there. That's
It's right there.
Right there.
They could have.
Well,
what does Indian Ocean even do for Chile? I've got no idea.
I also have.
Don't remove
the
box though.
I guess it's good. It's good. It is actually. It is a little.
We don't need to look at that.
It is a little good for fighting Argentina because you can cut here, but I don't.
You can already do that from where it's at, though.
yeah. If you're gonna fight Argentina, just fight Argentina. Don't like try to do like I'm Captain Jack Sparrow and I'm gonna go into the Indian Ocean. Like no.
I've had players and press like propose moves that are like really sub optimal just to like throw some other player off and then attack them. And the problem with that is like sure the other player won't see that attack coming, but that's because you made the attack so bad on them that nobody would think that you would actually do it, Yeah,
because now
what this feels
because
like.
now you'll do it and then you'll get clocked over the head with a sledgehammer the next phase.
Yeah.
Like
you just gotta go for it.
You want what you did was you like some of these stabs you see someone you walk up and you have a gun pointed at somebody and the person's like whoa don't shoot. You go okay I won't shoot and you toss the gun away. This person you're trying to shoot, by the way, has like a a sword. You throw the gun away. You're like okay I'm chilling. The other guy with the sword turns around. He's like okay well clearly I'm not going to be attacked. The guy just threw his gun away and I have a sword. If he attacked me it would be suicide. And then you walk up to the guy with the sword and you you slap him in the back of the head. And you're like, ah, got you. And then he turns around with the sword like, oh, yeah, you got me, huh? Didn't ya? Yeah, no.
I've had so many players try
and
to,
then you
like,
get cut in half.
propose things like that to me.
You get cut in half and it's done.
Yep. If you're gonna stab, you stab with full force.
Yeah. You just gotta go for it. Full send.
On that note, hey Salt, who tried to stab you here?
Yeah, it's just Europe is going great. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but it's just we're all friends here. Nobody's trying to attack France. Prussia going for Brussels. It's like a we just do that sometimes.
For old time's sake.
Definitely great on. Yeah, it's great.
Bounce. Oh boy, a bounce. I'll note that this English fleet in London suspiciously stayed still, so that deal is not quite working out for you yet.
No, it's really not. We had this deal with Brown. I just need to hope that it works, kind of. I think he's just like testing the waters to see if I'll actually do what I said in Africa here, which I did do. I did support Holden there.
Yep.
So hopefully that means he'll do what I want next phase.
Hopes and dreams.
And that's
Hopefully.
my best hope at the moment. But we're cautiously optimistic about the whole thing. Prussia getting knifed by Russia certainly does help.
Yes.
You
Even
don't
if it's a butter knife.
Yeah, that's not a
Yeah,
very
you know.
effective stab, I will say. There
I
are
just need to
some.
be effective enough that they'll stop trying for
There are about 20 other
Brussels.
things you can do that are more effective, including sitting still and doing nothing.
Venice is, oh my god, and Florence is right there open too.
You just sit
Ugh.
still, and then in the fall you're like, oh, I want Florence.
Yeah, but Italy isn't threatening me in Marseille anymore, so small wins.
Well, it turns out the Germanic hordes sacking Rome are a bigger priority than than the Gauls.
We still take those. We still take those. I've
A win
Italy's.
is a win.
We have been at war the whole game, but sometimes you just gotta turn around and deal with everything else.
Yeah. So says the Ottomans, moving this fleet to the Eastern Mediterranean. Like, what is the deal here?
Well,
we
you
want
see,
Athens.
Italy wanted their dot, so Ottomans thought to just like hand it over.
Well, yeah, but Ottomans could have done this, and it would have been really funny.
They could have, but
Now imagine
would,
imagine for a moment if the Ottomans had moved their units like this. Oh my god.
But
you
the
can take a
Italians
dot.
said
Take a dot.
jump, and they asked how high, and that's what this means.
About this
the
high.
Italians just do whatever
About-
the Italians want.
About the distance from Tripoli to the island of Crete. That's how high the Ottomans
Yeah.
jumped, precisely.
Yeah, doing anything else
That's a
might
long
not be
distance.
what their
I wonder how long
overlords say.
How far from Tripoli to Crete? Well, for some reason it pulled up Google Maps, and Google Maps is telling me it's a 50-hour drive. So they drove about 50 hours.
A drive to Crete? That doesn't feel right.
I think there are some ferries involved, if I had to guess.
Hopefully.
The path,
That'd be a
the
very
path
long
was
bridge.
This. The path was this. So.
Oh, that's. Oh, okay. Huh.
Well, you don't want to drive through here. That's kind of dangerous,
Yeah.
Stay away from the Middle East if you can.
You got a good bow.
All right.
Long
so
way
let's see.
around.
So now that we've examined all the important areas, let's look at South America, the backwater. It looks like Colombia is attacking people, and that's about it.
They would never.
Peru and Chile are cooperating against Argentina a bit. Colombia is attacking Peru in the north, but Peru has quite a few units, so it's not very effective to attack on this angle. And that's about all I can really note that's of too much importance so far.
I think who is the front runner at this point in Argentina? Is
it's
it
Colombia.
Argentina?
It's Colombia.
Colombia. Okay, Colombia is the front runner.
I think if
Not by
Argentina
much,
played better
right?
in the last year, which we can't see, it would have been Argentina. But the fact that Argentina Colombia.
We'll see what's the deal with the Argentina players soon enough.
I think tactically you'd
Suffice
rather
to
be
say.
Colombia by a bit, but it feels kind of slow. And if you play optimally, because France has Caen, which is hard, Argentina can take this dot from you, and then they have some progress up here. The upside for Colombia is that it's much harder for Argentina to deal with the other two powers in Peru and Chile, where Colombia looks like they'll slowly advance, and Argentina will slowly have to fall back and might lose some ground there.
Yeah, it's not a. Chile actually is a dark horse from this position if they can maneuver this right.
Yes. Well, no, in this position,
Well, the
nobody is
Indian
out of
Ocean
there.
move from last turn doesn't speak super
in-
highly
yeah,
of
this-
that.
no.
But in this position, tactically, nobody is out of the running. Everyone has a chance to win.
That's what you want to see in a board. You want everyone. Well, okay.
Well,
Brazil
Brazil
is
does.
out of the running.
But can we even count Brazil as a South American power? I said every South American power, but Brazil is an African power.
Of course.
And for some
The
reason,
Brazilians,
Brazil is
they have-
attacking the Ethiopians. They're doing an Italian cosplay based on the color.
Who was the Brazil player?
I don't remember. I think it started as the guy nothing_here, and then it turned into Jake.
Jake. Okay,
Jake was
yeah, that would do
at
it.
this point. This was Jake. Yeah, I mean, in this position, there's not much better to do with your units. I mean, I guess there is. What you could do is you can go here, and then you can try to color Southwest Africa, right?
Well, what
but
they
it's a
could
pain.
do is they could move to Buganda, and then try to snipe Leopoldville.
Oh, you mean like this? Yeah, that's possible, but
Yeah.
I don't see any upside to it. You want to be able to build, so I would do there.
Yeah, I mean, the
either
Ottomans
way,
are
they
going to
can't
throw it in
build.
that area.
Happy fun time.
Either way, they don't get. Brazil is dead by this point. They're dead. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
I
All
think
right.
that's everything.
Onwards we go. Wait a second. Yeah. Oh, that was spring. This was spring. This is fall. All right. So I'm gonna zoom in on the big arrow right there. Hey, Tephra.
Yeah.
It looks like you.
You see, so
Hmm.
what
You
I
broke
did
the
here
deal.
is I took my glasses off and I wiped off some smudges on the lenses and I put them back on and I saw that there was a dot right there.
Whoa, shiny.
And it's a pretty big dot.
Hmm.
I kind of wanted it, so I took it.
Odd how that works.
I can't believe you would break a deal just
Look,
like that.
I saw a dot. I took
It's
a
crazy.
You gave your word. then
I
you
just
broke it.
wow. Russia might attack you now. You know, with their
No,
zero
I'll
armies on the border.
See, you would think that, but then I go to Russia after this move, and we sit down, and Russia says, "I recognize that I can take centers faster in Europe than you can take them behind me. I'm simply not going to bother dealing with that." And I can bring up that press. I can drag that up right now.
Yeah, please put a screenshot in. I
'Cause-
would like to have this for
Hold
the recording. I will say I can't say that I agree with that fact. The fact would be true if Russia had played correctly and moved Moscow
hold
to
on.
Lithuania.
Oh no, I can't see the press. Hold on. If I can.
But what
yeah,
I will,
that
I
Baltic
can't see
fleet from
press
Russia is
anymore.
gonna really annoy.
yeah. But
Russia here.
what I will say is that you cannot take dots faster than someone can take them behind you. If there are two things behind you taking dots, then you might have some problems.
I'll ping Superstition over this.
You just have to get the right rolls in press. You have to go to, let's see. You have to go to the international press tabs. Then you go to observer roles. You pick them all up.
International press. That would be. Here we are.
Observer roles.
Far East Observer. There we are.
You actually
China,
want
Russia. Oh, now I can see everything.
You actually want Old World Observer
Okay.
because you're talking to European Russia.
Right. Because this was. Let's see. Neutral state, international press, observer roles, Old World Observer. Yep, here we are. Old World, Russia, China. All right, here we are. All right. Budget to break. Could I deal with you?
Good times.
Okay, this is. Okay, I'm going to need to pop out the window. This is. I need to. This was negotiated over multiple days because Russia had slow press and Firebender was not in control at this point. So we have this part of it. That was my main throw. which
All right, we'll just set this up. God, there's so many moves to look at. We'll just put it in the middle of your country, honestly, right there.
Yep.
All right.
That works. That is a lot of press from you and 3 words from Russia.
and there is the second. This screenshot has the reply. And
Wow.
if we get to the my offer to you section.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna put that. I'm gonna put that on this board. We'll just paste it over there.
Sorry. Yeah, it works too.
Wait, copy this image. Yeah. You offered Oslo instead of
Prefer
St.
you to
Pete?
take Oslo? That's insane. What is he thinking? Oh my god, you do not want a foreign army in your backline like that. It's not even the backline, it's like the backline and the front line now.
So, just a pro tip to any
Oh
new
my
players
God.
watching this: giving people dots is actually how you lose diplomacy. Did you know?
It doesn't make them go away, it just makes them closer to you.
Well, listen,
And now
I
they
know.
learned that.
Listen, I have a flock of sheep in my, in this pen, and there's a wolf outside, kind of growling hungrily at the sheep. But if I give the wolf, access to the sheep, then the wolf won't be hungry anymore, and he'll go away and stop growling, and he won't come back because he'll know that I'm a upstanding individual who likes wolves, and I mean, he wouldn't, he wouldn't go
Yeah, I
back.
know. He would just leave you alone and just give him the one sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we take a look at the offer that I made, so the plan. So this is where a subplot that has yet been mentioned yet. Something that 1862 has is a points system, and depending on how well you do at the end of the game when you win, you may, if you have the record for most points for a country on a board, you get immortalized as the best of X country for that board. And the current winning China is a victory at 23 centers, which
That's
is
a lot of
insane.
centers.
Yeah.
What's
And so
8
I
more
looked
than
at that and
required
I
to
thought
win?
to myself, okay, if I'm not going to take the grand prize, then I at least want something to show for my gameplay here. And I decided that I would be aiming to get on that leaderboard for a different board. And the easiest one is Europe, because the minimum number of centers you need to get on that board is 3. And so if I could just get 3 centers in Europe, I am a best China for Europe. And so that is the offer I made Russia. Get me up to 3 centers in Europe, and I help you win. Now, there is just one problem with this logic. If we look at the centers that China can take in Europe,
They're all
and we
Russia's?
look at who I would be supposedly helping win Europe.
Well, it's golf scores.
I have a feeling Russia didn't
Playing
think
golf.
too hard about this.
So that's the offer. And if we go down to the second wall of text, because a lot of the times we can give like the SparkNotes version of press, because it's just the general motion of it that matters. But this interaction, this is the sort of lunacy that really defined this game. So they not only accept the plan, but then propose taking Oslo instead of St. Petersburg.
It's just much better for you because then you can walk back and forth. You get Stockholm. You get all these other dots that you would never have gotten originally.
An army in Oslo has nowhere else to go besides further into Russia. At least with like Moscow and like St. Petersburg, you can like plausibly turn that into anti-Prussia and work together there. But Oslo is probably the worst place Russia can have you in.
And they have invited me in there.
Madness.
What a nice guy. What a great player.
So,
Just insane.
you would think in 99 out of 100 games, China sniping Moscow from Russia here means death war. Because this move should kill Russia outright.
Should.
However, instead we have that interaction, which this is the converse to what King of Prussia said last time, where they attacked Union and never made peace. Sometimes when you stab someone and talk to them, you get something you could not have imagined paying off.
And the big difference in that is circumstance and investment. I will say
Yes.
that when you stab Russia here, this is the Asia-Russia player. They're kind of checked out. Their position's also dead over here. And so they're just
this
kind
is
of
the Europe-Russian player that I just stabbed.
Isn't
This
our
is Europe-Russia that made this.
but our Panda was the Asian Russia originally. So
Oh no, they were the America-Russia.
or yeah, America Russia. Sorry, they were America Russia. I was negotiating them for the whole game. And the key is that this isn't really their position natively, so they don't have as much care for it, and it's not like right away when they're still really invested in the game. So they're able to kind of be like, whatever, let's just work it out. If you stab somebody when they're really invested in the game and they think that they have a good chance at winning, and then you just kind of, take it all away, they're gonna react a bit more negatively than other people will. And that's kind of a key
Yes.
difference to keep in mind.
So butter knife to the back. The other thing that happened. So that's the big flashy thing that will define how the game goes in Europe going forward. That move there is a tonal shift for Europe, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And the other things that happened. First, I take Calcutta, and I do walk out of Yunnan. And France responds to it by putting a fleet in Hong Kong and taking the army out of it.
Certainly. Okay. I guess they're not going
And,
to contest you.
And if we look over at Korea, at the end of the last part of this, I mentioned that if I could get Pyongyang open for a single phase, it would be doomsday for Japan. Because I could build a fleet on the coast of the Sea of Japan, and their position was doomed.
Like so.
There we go.
Yep. And now they're dead. That is Japan thoroughly dead.
That is just game.
Well, this isn't. Well, Japan's not dead yet, but you've got a gun pointed at Japan, and they're digging their own grave. So it's looking pretty close.
Yep.
Solid stuff.
All things considered, this is the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
However, I have that deal with Union, and Union has not yet won.
Indeed. Let's see how North America is
And-
going. Oh no, unless you. Anything else?
There is also the subplot of going into. There is the subplot now of the European adventure,
Yes.
and then we don't have to worry about Oceania.
That is. This is much less complicated than last time. Luckily.
Yes. And hey, someone got into Indian Ocean. I wonder who got into the Indian Ocean here.
Oh.
Oh my god.
The Caliph.
Why?
Inshallah, we shall conquer the Indian
what
Ocean
odds are
through
planning
the great
here.
holy, the great holy power of jihad. The Indian Ocean shall be conquered. New Zealand shall be liberated from Christianity, and Sharia law shall be
Speaking
Speaking
imposed.
of New Zealand, let's take a look
New
at what
Zealand,
Chile
be so
did with
funny.
that South Pacific Ocean fleet.
Oh.
It held.
Classic.
Wait a second. No, Chile NMR'd.
Oh, I thought
No,
it
wait,
went
they
to
They didn't
Atlantic.
NMR. They just pulled back.
I do not
They
understand.
just. Okay. All right.
Well, they could have
I think
supported.
that's enough.
Doing here, guys.
Anyways, we're gonna
What
look at
is
North America.
this?
We're gonna look at North America now. I don't want to think about
Yes,
that too
please.
hard. Hey, would you look at that? Someone managed to take Lawrence.
Crazy.
That's.
Yep.
Yep.
France had to move this time, but too
Wow.
late.
Too late. L.
You're
Okay,
one
is that
dot away from the
victory?
win, right?
Yes. So if I was talking a lot to England here, if England had decided to move West Atlantic Ocean down anywhere, any other move other than this, I win on the spot. Because I take Winnipeg and Toronto. I promised England support to Vancouver, but they didn't believe me, and for a good reason. I was never doing that in this phase, at least.
Yep.
For obvious reasons. They tried to put Mexico there, but Mexico didn't get the memo. So good times. Good times to be
Try to
Mexico.
support the army into Victoria. Okay, yeah, never mind.
Into
That
Vancouver
works.
like this, but yeah, or like that.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
England just ignored the free dot sitting right in front of them.
The glasses were not on.
Clearly. Yeah. Other than that, North America is pretty self-explanatory. I put an army into Florida to force this fleet of France to be, dumber. Actually, I remember I had promised France support into New Orleans here, and obviously I was never doing that, but they still tried. They still gave it a go.
Honestly, it might
Yeah,
not
if you
have
can
been the
break up
worst
the
decision to support them into
French-Spanish
there.
alliance.
And I would
Because
have.
if you had supported them into there, then that force disbands New Orleans, which forces that is going to irritate Spain a lot.
Yeah,
Because
but
then it looks like France is working with you.
a bit. I felt like the tactical permutations aren't the best down the line, because what could happen, right, is if I want to then take it, either I have to run like this and support myself in here, in which case France can support themselves like this, right, like here, like this, or I have to
True.
push my
Yeah.
army this way. But then they just cut, right? Like maybe they just cut here
Yeah.
and then they support this way like that, and I just never really. I mean, maybe they don't support this way like that, but you kind of they cut this. They get a fleet over here. I don't think I actually ever get the dot that way, and therefore I'm trying to keep Spain in the dot because they're a different player who can maybe trick them to do something else. I just think the odds are slightly better in that case.
It's fair. Yeah.
It's very slight.
There
though.
is also, speaking of that fleet in the West Atlantic Ocean, it did bounce Halifax.
Yep.
And
would you look at that? It got slot.
Game goes on.
The fleet got dislodged though, so now it has a few options of where to retreat. I think that's what you were pointing to, right, Tephra?
yes.
Yes. So
For example, it could go to Hudson Bay.
Yeah, but this is a useless retreat.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. England still can't take dots.
I cover all the dots. The one retreat that I have to be
go
concerned
to
about, the Gulf of St. Lawrence.
GSL.
If it goes
It could
here,
also go to the North Atlantic and just help Britain in a board that isn't dead yet.
yeah, I mean, Russia is offering up Oslo to anyone who will, take it. So that's it's certainly an option.
Anyone who asks nicely gets it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, just gotta attack them, and then if you ask for it, then Russia will do it.
But maybe Britain's glasses weren't on up here, but maybe the glasses will be on down here, huh? What are we thinking? Guess we'll see.
One can certainly hope so, that they will see the dot and go for the dot.
Ooh, dot.
This is a fall phase, right?
Yeah. Yes. Dot.
Yes, it's just a build for them to go for it.
It's a dot.
Objectively, their best move.
It's a dot right there. We'll see. That's North America. Not much else really to talk about in North America. It's just there's not much relevant press to be done in a position like this anymore. There is just me and everyone who wants to not let me win on the spot. And so it was. With that in mind,
fun.
I guess we kind of already analyzed Asia for the most part. There's all this happening, all the good stuff for you. All the good stuff for you, all of it. And so, Salt, Tephra and I are both coming pretty close to winning. How's Europe going?
We're getting there. No dots taken this turn, unfortunately, but we're setting up for some gains. Prussia decided to sleep on the defense here, so we're slowly making some progress there. I'm not sure why they decided to hold 4 of their units, but we don't complain.
Yeah, I mean, they could have taken this dot, or they could have done it this
no, they
way.
would have. Yeah, they could have support held. I'm not sure what the plan was here with Prussia, but free positioning is always nice.
Yeah.
Italy still doesn't decide to attack me. Spain holds for 1 turn. Other than that, we're just kind of trying not to move too much so nobody sees us and attacks again.
What, you think your neighbors are all dinosaurs?
Well, they all seem to like forget that I'm here, so I'm trying to keep things that way.
Uh-huh.
So far, it's been working a little bit.
So it would seem.
If they don't notice me, then I don't exist.
All right. Well, on that note, I guess that we'll probably continue on. There's not much else to talk about, really. Oh yeah, look, Ottoman's
Nope.
still trying to advance in Africa.
Yep, and that's not happening.
No, it's not. The
They worked
Brazil
with Brazil, it might though.
Brazil cutting Khartoum actually saves this unit from being forced to retreat. That's the funny thing.
I'm sure Ottomans have some kind of master plan to break through and take something, and we're just
And it involves the Indian
we
Ocean.
proved wrong. Yep, you'll see.
All right, yeah, let's see.
Yep.
Adjustments. Yeah, so in retreats, hey, would you look at that?
There we go.
So this retreat means that I officially am complete. I'm gonna get Halifax. That's it. I'm gonna have 15 in North America. It's just a matter of time if I get tied at all. But there's not really any obvious candidate to tie me here. The biggest one is China, right? But I don't think that the other powers in Asia are coordinated or motivated enough to push you to 15 to tie me.
No, they are not.
Both because they're still kind of squabbling, but also because if they throw to you, they might overthrow. That's a possibility.
Yes.
Given how many builds
it is worth noting also that the Spain player has subbed out. So we have a new Spain player in the Philippines, and they are dramatically more level-headed than the previous one.
Yeah,
and I think they may be the first outright sane player that has been in Spain for this entire game.
It's
they probably are.
PYXXY, right?
Yes.
Yes. There you go, level-headed Spanish player, new.
Yes.
It's a Spain player that actually takes their siestas, and so they're not crazy up on cocaine all day.
Something like that.
I think that players played this map before and done. I don't think they've won, but they have done quite well.
Yeah. And that is one thing, but the other thing is that, if we look at Australia and the unit density around Australia, and the fact that it's still the Far East colonials who I think, I'm not sure, but they may have set a record this game for least coordinated region. Least coherent region for sure.
Only now this is 1868, I think, is there any coherence in East Asia, and it's only because the entire continent got burnt to the ground.
Yes. It took actual firestorm.
I will say that Europe right now is also quite incoherent.
Europe is incoherent, but it's at least there's it's betrayal incoherence. The Far East was just a slaughter.
Alliances are for the weak.
It was incoherent.
Alliances are for weak men and weak people. Strong men fight on their own and can take everything they want by themselves.
And get no controlled territory ever.
Who needs builds anyways?
At this map, there are only 2 powers who have the ability to build at this point. Well, 3 counting Japan, but
But Japan's not really a power.
Not gonna.
Yeah. Japan is a walking corpse.
Well, yeah, Japan is actually in the middle of digging their own grave, so I agree.
Yes. Spain has no controlled territory. England has no controlled territory.
Spain does.
France has controlled territory.
Right there.
Oh, they have one. They have
Imagine.
an island off in the middle of nowhere stuck behind the West Pacific Ocean Fleet.
That'll be very useful in the fight against China.
Yes. And all of France's controlled territory is sitting behind the line of armies they already have on the border.
Yep.
I'm sure it'll go
And
perfectly
s-
fine.
They also have Singapore.
Which has an army in it,
But
so
yep.
you can't build in it.
Yep. So they're just kind of stuffed.
Good times. Let's see. Salt, looks like you have another army in Europe now.
Yeah, I think it'll help us out quite a bit here. That
Wait, do
army
you?
is the secret tool that'll
Oh, wait,
help us win.
wait a second. No, you just walked
It
your
is
army.
also not new.
Never mind. That's not new. I just thought you had a new
We
army, but
took it from Spain and we put it in France. And if you squint, it technically a build.
it looks pretty shiny to me.
Definitely
Brand
new.
new.
We in France definitely 100% are having builds. We are a country that is taking dots and building like every strong power does.
Uh-huh.
That's us.
Yep. Definitely.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because you have this new army right there. I'm not
Yep.
sure why the new
But
army here
Singapore
was
a convoy.
Yeah, that was a convoy. This army's new, but like, I guess you could try to get it up here. But where do you even send this fleet?
Great question.
Yep.
Like, I
Far
guess
East
maybe
France
you
told me
throw
that was
it.
the build that they wanted, and that's the build that I gave them.
I would not have given Far East France a build. I would have said, "You're dead. Goodbye. Good luck."
At this point, despite China being huge, we still see Europe as a sort of a lost cause with how chaotic everything is.
As if Asia
We're
wasn't
trying to
already a
like build
lost
up the
cause.
Far East to be relatively strong, and we're kind of trying to get the or at least the Far East France trying to like get the colonial powers back into some semblance of a united front to like kind of stop China here, though it's not going very well.
No, it's not.
Yes, you still have the problem of England.
Yeah, England does not listen to anyone.
England's a big, strong man who doesn't like to listen to no other person tell him how to do his life.
And we take a look at that, and if we look at the positioning around India,
Well, it almost looks like the English army is just dead.
that is what it looks like.
You know, I said Japan is digging his own grave. This English army has already finished digging its grave and is lying in it, waiting for you to come by and throw the dirt in.
Yep. And what would make it really funny is if didn't even get force disbanded, if it just disbanded of its own volition.
Well,
but
can't do that yet because this is after adjustments.
Yep.
So you get to wait for that. I guess builds. I had builds. The builds are nice. I built an army in Chicago because Mexico retreated this army from Lawrence into Iowa, and I want to force disband it. If I dislodge this army and it just gets to retreat further in, it'll just keep being a problem. It'll get up here. Mexico is firmly against me at this point. I have to force disband it. Luckily, because England didn't retreat to Hudson Bay, I can afford to pull Toronto down to Midwest. I think this is. And I can afford to just do that really, like, immediately on the spot with no problems. The only problem is if they try something like this, where they support themselves. Where they support themselves in with 2. So if I want to, I have to be kind of careful about how I handle this army. But other than that, it looks pretty good. I build 2 more fleets. I have Charleston as controlled territory now, which is great. We put out a Union fleet in Fort Sumter to commemorate the death of the Confederacy, and we also put one in D.C. because DC is not a core territory of the Union. I had to get control territory on it, but that wasn't that hard. So yeah, I just put out more fleets. Like I said at this point, this is a stalemate along the west. I don't really ever get further west than this. And so the big path to expansion is to just spread like a cancer out into the ocean and then come back around. So that's me.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good. Yeah, you should be able to get the 15 guaranteed. Doesn't look like Mexico, France, or anybody can really do anything about it. So
They already threw. So
pretty
yeah.
clean spot. Yeah,
Oh yeah. The other
it's
thing
pretty
I forgot.
much over.
The other thing I forgot to mention in like these, what is it? In these positions is I also called Luxon in, and he and I spent some time talking tactics just in case. We came to pretty similar conclusions beforehand, but it was funny. Luxon was conscripted
Yeah.
to to talk tactics.
Yep.
It's fun when you're not by yourself in your void, all alone. Yeah, that's builds, I think. South America looks chaotic. Ain't it so? All right. So, moves. In 1869, I believe. Where do we want to start?
Um, we can put Europe to last again. I think.
Okay. Well,
Let's
there
see.
are two foregone conclusions here, at least.
Let's see your moves first. I think.
Why not? So North America. This goes pretty well. I take a bunch of gambles. France and Mexico failed to cooperate again. Thank God. And so
Houston too.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, I get. Well, this doesn't matter because I get forced out. But it's funny. And so I grab. I get myself into Indian territory as well. So this army dies. This army dies, and this really solidifies that there's just nothing anyone else can do against me anymore. I moved. So what I did is I calculated precisely what I needed to do to keep 15 here. One of the potential problems that could have risen is if see this French convoy into Mississippi. What I just I just moved the army back preemptively to Montgomery to cover this because what could happen is France convoys in here like they did, but then they can try to move up to Memphis. And if they had held here and stayed put and Mexico had cut something like this, then they could have had two on Memphis. So I need the army in Montgomery to cover that. Is basically what I'm looking at. Which is a lot of complications. But, late game tactics be like that sometimes. Like at Halifax, I support myself in just to guarantee it, just in case. Although technically I could have been a little bit loose. I could have brought the army down and seen about getting into the West Atlantic. But at this point, like I said, I don't really see any threat, and I don't see any threat of anyone tying me. Really, there's no logical reason for anyone to really undertake it.
Yeah, your moves don't matter too much here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only situation in which this Union position ties with anyone is if there's a tactical throw.
That wouldn't occur.
No.
The Far East is the only real candidate for that sort of a throw. And as we can see here, the Far East does not want to throw because there is a France that still thinks they can win the game.
Or at
and
least
a Japan that doesn't want to throw. And yeah, Africa still has the Ottomans, and they're stubborn as hell. Europe is too much of a mess for anyone to make anything happen.
Yeah,
And
actually
South
the
America,
funny thing is in Europe, I think Italy does attempt to get people to throw to them, but nobody does because there's nobody
Yeah.
believes. Nobody
Italy's like asks everyone to throw, and nobody wants to give them dots. It's kind of funny.
And South America would require Colombia to go +5 to tie this. And what? There's no chance of that.
That's not how math works.
Yeah. It would be, to say it would be absurd. Well, hold on. How many senators does Colombia have here?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, that's Argentina.
7. Oh wait, yeah, that's our oopsie, wrong country we're counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, 6, 7, 8.
I can
9.
check the threat rating. They have. Well, hold on. Also factor in Papua.
Does that count for South America?
It does, yes.
Yeah, South
Not
America, and that's it.
Not Papua. That's not Papua. That's PAP.
Easter
What is
Island,
PAP?
PAP.
I think.
That's not
I'm not sure.
Papua.
Something like that.
I know it's supposed to be
Um,
like a French colony.
like Tahiti.
I'm not sure.
We're gonna pull out the
That
maps.
region is
We're gonna figure it out.
that region is a weak spot. But yeah, that is a South American dot. So
Okay,
Colombia would
then.
need to go +5 to tie. And realistically speaking, especially like with this spring move set,
Pop
this is
stands
not a
for
position where
the
Colombia.
capital. The capital of French, or not the capital, but like city in French Polynesian are called Papeete.
Ah, I
So
see.
it's
Okay.
Papeete, yes, very important.
But yeah, this Colombia position, like maybe they get 3 centers.
So yeah, they can take this. If France is stupid, they can take this. But I mean, no, if they can't. They can't. So no, they can take this dot, and they can take like that's about it, really. Like in realistic games,
Yeah.
it's this dot, it's this dot. Like maybe you snipe Cayenne if France like believes you're BS for some reason.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. I think we have already gone over most of the stuff in North America. Or is
Yeah,
there
we talked
more?
about all the tactics. That's basically it.
Yep. Going over to Asia now, where we have, we're going to look away from the Russia part for a bit and just focus on Japan. Where we have, would you look at that? The Sea of Japan just got blown apart.
And Russia even tried to help them extend the game, and it didn't work. Because somebody decided to move.
Yep. And if we look at Hokkaido.
Odd.
Yep. Now, France did move that fleet out of Hong Kong, and they did convoy that army build from GDH to Hong Kong. So that wasn't... It turns out that was their plan.
Yeah, you're actually...
And
there is some
it would
encroachment on
seem
the
that-
south.
Yep, it would seem that the Far East has finally gotten itself together. After I'm already at 12 dots.
Good stuff.
It's a bit late for that.
I'm sure
but-
they have a chance.
We also see that England puts a fleet into the Indian Ocean.
I wonder what that's for.
Yep.
Hmm.
And they are still fighting France and Spain over Australia. And speaking of Oceania, Chile.
There goes New Zealand.
They finally did it.
Yep.
Now, the problem is that this is
Yep.
spring, not fall. You could have had that dot last fall, then you would have had a build, and builds are pretty nice.
Yeah. The other thing is, I mean, maybe they can, if they also had that at the start of this year, they could have walked into NOU. That's another dot. They could be
Fun
doing
fact.
much better.
Dots are good.
But you know who does see open dots in a timely manner? If we take a look at, now we can look at the Russia part of the game, where it turns out that all that wall of press from earlier, where Russia listened to China say, "You should give me centers because I want to be on the leaderboard," and they nodded and they said, "Sure."
We're
And
telling the truth.
yep. And they just let me walk into St. Petersburg, and their stipulation was, "Hey, you should take Oslo instead."
Actually
Because-
insane.
And their rationale for this, if we pull up those press shots again, their rationale was they wanted to leave St. Petersburg open in case they got a build to make a second fleet.
Well, famously, giving away
Russia
centers
is
earns you
not
more builds.
building.
Famously, when you give people centers, they give you builds. So that's how that works.
God. You're not having builds in this position as Russia. I'm sure the second army from China going into Europe won't have anything to do with that either.
Well, now that Russia's let the dragon in, there's nothing else to be done.
God, it's just
So,
it's so stupid.
Salt, from your France game, when you saw this happening to Russia, what were your thoughts on the matter at the time?
I looked at this and I saw that Russia was dead here. I was hoping that they could provide a little bit of help against Russia before they died, but I was not expecting Russia to stick around or be helpful for very long. Yeah, that's kind of like my thought process here. Like,
Yeah. This is the mark of a dead Russia at this point.
I thought about
Almost.
coordinating with the Russia against Prussia before this happened, and then I saw these moves and just decided that we could just watch Russia burn down from a safe enough yeah, just watch from afar.
You can enjoy the bonfire from a safe distance where you're not going to catch on fire, but you can feel some nice heat.
Yep, yep. There's no point trying to save that.
No, not at all. So yeah, that's about all for me. Asia has finally decided that it will be the Grand Coalition has formed, and maybe they can get to Japan in time to bail them out.
Maybe. But it doesn't help
Maybe.
that Japan and Russia can't coordinate to save their lives.
No,
Because if
literally
Russia
to
had
save
done
their
this
lives.
and Japan had held, then actually the position is salvageable.
Yep. And instead,
Yes.
I am now in the Sea of Japan and Hokkaido.
Good stuff.
Yep.
All right. Hey, what's Europe doing?
We took a dot. It happened.
Wow.
We're up to 6.
There you
But
go.
it is spring. You could still lose it.
No, it's fine. France takes lots of dots. Ignore the Italian fleet that's now in Corsica. That's fine. Everything's fine. Italy won't be mad about Switzerland at all.
Surely not.
Prussia's backing off the border. Huge. I'm sure I will let that happen. I won't try to dot Prussia again. I've learned from the past.
You even DMZ'd Alsace-Lorraine.
Yeah, I'm being such a great ally for them.
Yeah, the French and the Germans famously get along
That's
very well in
me.
the 1860s.
Yeah,
Yep.
we've only fought
Especially
like
in
all game.
Yep.
I mean, the Hall of Mirrors is so far away from the front line. How could anything go wrong?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's
And
see.
England is trying to do what they say. The North Sea move is coordinated, and we're planning on them supporting me to Amsterdam in fall here.
Good stuff. All right. Let's see. Tour around the world. No, I mean, I guess I have an idea. Italy is moving in to get Trieste and maybe try to push themselves further up into Europe to see if they can't get some good stuff done. They get dot from
I believe-
Spain.
At this point, I think Austria has gunboated.
Yeah.
Austria's been
is-
going for a while, I think.
I mean, it was ego playing it.
Yeah,
Bound to happen eventually.
It was gunboating since year 1.
yeah. That's what ego does.
I do remember checking when I had the one roll in 1865, I think it was, and press from Austria was about 2 messages in a week. So,
Oh my
Um,
god.
except when I say
That
press,
sounds
that
about
also when I say press, that also counts messages sent in the orders channel.
Oh. So
Yep.
orders and nothing else then.
Well,
All
you
right.
know.
That sounds about right.
Yes. Let's see. Africa. What does Africa look like? Looks like the Ottomans are losing. Who could have seen that one coming? Brazil is losing. Oh wow. There's really not much new here.
Yep.
The jihad to New Zealand did not actually take place.
Chile,
Who would have
however.
thought?
Chile has.
The Reconquista.
Not even a Reconquista. It's just a conquista.
Well, they're going to call it a Reconquista, so that way, when they are there 100 years later, they say, "Oh, this was always Chilean land.
Of course.
We were the first ones here." Okay, and then South America. This is chaotic.
That's
But-
fun.
You know,
Peru does a lot of moves and only one of them goes through, and they lose
Yep.
a dot from it.
Yep.
they gain a dot, so it's
It's
okay.
fun.
Of course, that's
I
going to be a lost
guess,
dot
yeah.
in like 2 seconds because Argentina will retreat there. Wait, let me. There.
Well, no, because they also just straight up lose SUC. Like it gets walked into from
yeah,
behind.
yeah. Well, I mean, like they lose this, but they gain this, so it's technically even. But then this retreat goes here, and then they're
Yeah,
screwed.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They get blown out.
But also, that was kind of going to be forced next in the next season, anyways, by this move.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Good chalk. There's not much else to talk about here, so we'll go into fall. And I think that there's.
Let's start with South America. Let's start with
Yeah.
South America this time.
So, as it turns out, there are a few different ways you're able to throw dots. For some reason, Argentina here decides to toss a lot of them to Colombia, in such a fashion that that Argentina effectively eliminates their own chances of ever doing anything on the continent. Like this is
And yeah,
Yeah, that is a
yeah.
throw to end all throws there.
France gives up
and
Kane.
Colombia goes +5,
Would you look at that?
which forces the tie.
Yes, this forces the tie. I will say this throw is. I mean, at this point, it is technically just a throw to tie. At this point, which is not that egregious in 1862. I still find it quite egregious in this position because this
Of how well he was doing.
Yeah, this was like this Argentina position had a lot of potential to win the continent, and this throw eliminates all that potential like immediately. There's nothing you can like. There's no Argentina no longer has.
They're
any
not a
chance to-
relevant power anymore. They're just free dots.
They're dead.
Yes,
They're just gone.
And it's not like this was like sometimes you see throws out of spite, like like one dude attacked somebody else early in the game, and then that player that got attacked throws all their dots to another neighbor out of spite. And it's like it's not ideal, but you can see why they did it. You don't want to reward the guy who stabbed you to death. I will note that I did not ever stab Argentina in this game. I did nothing to deserve Argentina throwing all the dots to Colombia in the world.
It's just weird to me because, like, does Argentina think that Colombia is gonna give these dots back?
No.
Like,
No.
I don't get the thought process here.
At this point, we now know. I mean, I think it was pretty clear. But Argentina is all in at this point, just into making Colombia win. They don't care about their own outcome at all. Like it's just about making Colombia win the game. And I still don't know what led them to come to that conclusion that that's what they should do. I still don't know.
Yeah, you could take second, well, probably third because of China, but like third place is still like you still win the area.
Yes,
That's better than just dying.
It's quite impressive for somebody who subbed into a nation who doesn't have much of really any reputation thus far in the community to come in and win a position in 1862. But no, we don't want to do that. But yeah, this is like the worst type of throw. Like I cannot. Like this type of throw means that if I see this player in any other game, I will kill them on the spot out of spite. And I am doing that right now, by the way. It's just what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Salt is doing it as well in a different game entirely.
Yeah, I kind of am actually.
Yeah, this is the type of player you don't want in your games. And either I will ask not to have this player in my games anymore, which I think would be very reasonable given the circumstances, or if they're ever in my games, I will kill them with extreme prejudice, as effectively as possible.
Throws like this are why we made the Pumpkin Cup roster what it is.
Yeah, because we're done with the BS and we're done with the throwing. Absolutely.
There is still BS. It's just not throwing.
Yeah, there's a lot of BS. There's
a different kind now. Isn't that fun?
But yeah. So moving over to North America, where we have moves made by sane people.
Wow. Yep, I expect the game to be over here, so I throw England into Vancouver as a thanks for, mostly letting me into their dots. It's not perfect, but they mostly let me into their dots, so we're chill. And I give them Vancouver.
And they can use that build somewhere else.
Yes, that's the idea. It's like I'm just going to pay you back a little bit. If I win here, then the entire continent gets blacked out and the unit goes away. But it helps Britain with another build, so I'm down to do that. And then I just naturally I cover all my other dots in the south. I make sure everything is all nice and tidy. That's about it. I don't have much else to do in this position. I guess I technically could have gotten another dot because Spain made bad moves here. I could have moved East Coast there, which would have been 16, which not enough to win, but 16 is decent.
You do also
but-
lose Houston.
Yeah, but I was never keeping that. It's so many units on it.
Yeah, 15 is all you
Yeah.
need, anyways.
Yeah, 15 to win,
you
and,
should need.
and 16 doesn't help with a tie. If England had agreed to support me into Vancouver, then I would have gone for Key West on account of getting to 17, which would have broken a 15 tie just in the event it happened, But they didn't, so I didn't, and that's life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly conservative moves as a result.
Yeah.
Russia does snipe San Francisco.
Oh, yeah, well,
True.
they got knifed, so
Not that
it's
it
only
matters.
natural. Yep.
Does mean that across the board, Russia does actually go. Let's see, they pick one up in North America. They're going to
They're
pick
down.
one up
Well, they're
in Asia.
even.
Spoilers.
They're even in North America because they lost Victoria.
Oh, right. So they're even in North America. They're down, minor spoilers, down 2 in Europe. Sorry, down 1 in Europe, but they're up 1 in Asia. So Russia goes neutral this turn.
Are they down in Europe? I think they're up in Europe, actually. They're up in quite a bit in Europe
No.
because they lose Copenhagen, but they gain Hamburg. They lose Oslo,
Oh,
but they
right.
gain Budapest.
Because they also gain Budapest, right. So they do
Yes.
have +1, which means that they can build that second fleet.
Right there. As was foretold. But we just go over the
but yeah.
moves in Asia. Let's see.
Yeah, this is so I do take Hokkaido. Russia decides that they want to take Edo from Japan, which sure, I take
Why not?
Bombay. And the coalition has actually a really solid position in Indochina, to the point where it's almost unbreakable. It would
Yeah.
require some chicanery to break through that line. But
Yeah.
Japan is where the game. Japan is where I've decided the game in Asia will be won or lost, and I am at 14 centers after this turn. All it would take is one more center, and that's game.
Yep.
So Asia's on a death timer. And I will note, it is specifically 14 because I, similar to King of Prussia, did not think that we would see something like what happened in South America.
Yes. There were moves that you could have made here, like this one in particular. You could have done this to get to 15.
Yeah.
But you had agreed to not force a tie, so
I
that
agreed.
this would all be blacked out, and then logically next turn this would all be blacked out, and then after that probably this is all blacked out, or this is all blacked out.
Yeah, it was a great conspiracy.
Yes,
No one could have foreseen Colombia getting this.
Yeah, I actually,
It's a
I
whole
thought,
wrench thrown in the works.
I believe that our conspiracy would prevent something like this from happening because nobody else knew about it. So all that, to everybody else's in this game's knowledge, you were fighting to tie me and to prevent me from winning. And that knowledge alone, the fact that you could do that, it's really easy for you to tie me here. You just do this, and I guess it doesn't. It's not like a guaranteed moveset, but you get the idea. And
but instead we get this.
Yes, but instead
we have
we have this basically crime.
Now I did cover this a little bit, but going back to Europe, because now there are 2 players for whom Europe is relevant. I do walk into Oslo as Russia asked. And there is now also a second Chinese unit in Moscow.
Reinforcements.
Yep.
Are you China or Mongolia?
That's a good question. The Mongols didn't conquer India, though, and they did not breach the home islands.
Well, the Mughals conquered India, and they were descendants of the Mongols, so...
Tamerlane can say what he wants.
Like he married what was it, like a great granddaughter?
Something like
Something for
that.
legitimacy.
Yeah.
I don't know. His claim is still shaky at best. Regardless, at this point, is it at this point or is it shortly after this where I also start talking with Brown and I think Salt as well to conspire? No, I remember that happens
I think
after.
it was, yeah,
That's later.
maybe next phase, right?
It's around this time that, the next phase of the conspiracy starts.
I remember.
But yeah. I mean, we could
Hoorah.
just check the press. But yeah, moving on to Salt's part of
Hey,
this.
Salt. So
Yep,
we both have pretty dominant
thanks.
positions. How is yours looking?
Yeah. It's definitely going. England did support us to Amsterdam, though it didn't work, of course. We take Zurich, always fun to see, and that's dot number 6. Who needs 14 dots or 15 dots when you can have 6, right?
What a time.
How the saying goes.
Sure thing.
Yep. Ottomans stab the Italians finally, so that's another distraction I can use. Very nice.
Yep. So Italy tries to get people to throw dots to them to match me, and instead they go down 2.
Yep. I
Or,
remember they asked
yeah.
me about it too. I just said no and moved on with my life.
There you go.
Yeah, we're just trying to slowly build up the position here. At this point, there's like 4 different powers in Europe that have a chance to win. It's like me, Prussia, Italy, and the Ottomans at this point. Would have been 5 with the Russia, but now they're just giving China a tour of the continent. So it's kind of anyone's game so far. And so it's still pretty dynamic here. And Spain is dying. Very fun.
Well, Spain was always going to die.
Yeah.
So this all right.
Don't want to say I told you so, but I did tell them so.
Good guy Salt telling people the future.
You know it.
Right. Well,
But yeah, things are going
onwards-
generally pretty well.
Onwards we go, and so we have to play another year because Colombia, Argentina, fun. So before the spring, as far as anyone could tell, this may have just been a throw by Argentina to tie it with Colombia. So there isn't an enormous amount of panic about the game ending immediately because the assumption is that Argentina is not going to let Colombia take the rest of their dots too, because that would really be crazy.
Yeah. Assuming reasonable play, Union and Colombia are now in a 2-way tie, and they just have to slug it through the rest of their continents. As reasonably, we would expect both of them to be coalitioned here.
Yes. I think in this position, Colombia does have an advantage because South America is a lot more dynamic in this position than North America. But that also does mean that Colombia is at more risk of being dropped back below 15. So
Yes.
I kind of just sit
If
here and
Argentina-
slowly grind while Colombia either does really well or falls back below. And I kind of don't have too much control over that.
Yeah. If Argentina and Peru coordinate something like supporting one of their units into MNS, or Argentina goes behind lines and gets into MGO, then Colombia does have risk of dropping back down. Or if Argentina goes out with their fleets, it goes from SAO into SLV, which is
So
right
Argentina
there.
just tries.
Here or here.
You're saying?
This is a board state where Colombia has been used to force a tie against Union, and the idea is that North America should be able to push back against Union effectively enough that Colombia gets dropped back below 15, Union gets dropped back below 15, and they have a game to continue.
Yeah, like Argentina should
That's
be able
what
to
you
capture
would expect.
their dots back.
The problem with this being the throw is that Union, I'm basically never getting dropped below 15 again. That's just not happening.
Yes.
The position is too solid for that. Yeah.
However, as we alluded to, when we switch to spring, There's gonna be.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Any relevant builds
Should we
anywhere
just
else
go
on the
spring
board?
now?
All the builds basically
Uh,
don't matter.
Not really. Nothing really of note.
All
I mean,
right.
it's all just
Yeah,
kind of
we
obvious
just-
stuff.
Go to spring here.
And so we go to spring,
Yeah.
and what we notice is that not only is Argentina throwing the tie, Argentina is throwing all of their dots to Colombia. All of them.
Not just their dots. They're also giving them Peru's
Peru's as
dots.
well.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, I just loved it. It was so much fun.
Yep. And this is where it becomes kill on sight.
Yes. This
Yeah, this is where you never play a game with this player ever again if you can help that at all.
And if you do, you kill them immediately. And if you can't kill them, if they're on the other side of the board, then what you do is you go to their neighbors and you tell them all about what happened. And if that doesn't convince them, then every single phase you make up rumors about how they're going to stab all their neighbors, and eventually they die.
Yep.
Like this is just it's kill on sight. It's kill in the game. It's every time you see this player in a game, you work to cripple them.
Yep.
And there's nothing else to be done.
Just can't play with them anymore with this.
Yep.
Yep.
Can't play
Just
can't play in
ruins
good
it.
faith. But look in North America, this is all pretty logical play up here. Spain is like trying to fight me, but I dislodged West Atlantic, and France's fleet here gets blown up by Colombia. And not much else really happens. We just kind of it's a lot of stalemate. England is helping me now because they don't really have anything else to do, and I did give them a dot. Very nice guy I am. I give people dots all the time. Very generous.
Yes, definitely.
Basically, my upsides for expansion at this point, and you can see them in my moves, are to break west through this army into like Portland with Russian support, if Russia is willing to, help me and kind of be throwy-ish to give me dots, and also to get West Atlantic to break down through Bahamas into Spain, to cut Key West and take it, and then shove down here. It's a big slog, but it's possible. Those are my expansion routes at this point.
Yep. And yeah, at this point, you just gotta take you gotta take the win behind or after South America blacks out, which really sucks. But with
Well,
them, there's just nothing you can really do.
I have
There is
one
an
more
option.
I have one more great conspiracy in me, which I'll discuss after we discuss all the other moves.
Yes. Going over to now, as we're discussing my moves, we'll take a detour to Europe first, which is where I say that at this point I was still trying to do press with Russia, and Russia was not returning my calls. So I had to start gunboating my quote-unquote help to Russia.
Always a good idea.
Yes.
And I moved into Stockholm because we had agreed that they would support me into Copenhagen.
Oh my god.
And they just started not returning my calls, and I saw Prussia break into Lithuania, and I go over to Prussia and I say, "Hey, I'm not really devoted to helping Russia here. Would you like to help me out? Would you like some help getting Russia killed?"
Mm.
And they say, "Sure." And then they don't do press.
Oh.
And it's a headache. Going back to
I'm
the part
sure
of the
this
board that
won't be a
matters.
theme.
It'll be fine.
Yes. Going back to the part of the board that actually matters, the Japanese home islands. As we can see, I am now back in the Sea of Japan. And the coalition is slightly breaking down. It's not totally broken down, but it is on the fritz. I don't know why they would bounce here. This is not... They don't need to bounce there. They don't need to move out of Shanghai either. Like, letting me get an army into there is...
It's bad.
I think this is France convincing Spain to go after you, and like West Pacific is kind of anti-you here, but the most that Spain can do is in this position. I don't know why Russia's going there though.
Well, I have to imagine
No,
it's something to do with what happened to the other Russia, which is that they put down their phone and they kind of are not responding.
Yeah, that would explain it.
So from this position, I'm looking out at the board and I'm seeing, okay, Union and Colombia, there's going to be some blackout ties. I'm going to stick with my deal and just not go to 15. I'll put in some nice garrison moves. I'll do some preparatory moves so that after this turn, it becomes a really guaranteed win on the turn afterwards. But for now, I'm not going to go for the throat. Because we have a deal. And I don't want to get dragged to hell by the tie. Like I have seen happen in the previous game.
Yeah.
It can be
where someone did
Um,
tie and then lost.
CSA there tied and just immediately got ripped apart by every neighbor. I don't think they
Limb from
survived
limb.
to the end there.
No, they didn't. They died before the game was over.
Yeah, that's insane because they would have won too. There wasn't the tie.
And who did they tie with exactly?
I wonder who that was. It's slipping my mind actually. Guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
I will say that is one of the
We'll never
reasons
know.
in this game that I decided to immediately kill CSA. Not because they almost won a previous game, but because if you want to win a game of 1862, or like the easiest way to win a game of 1862 is to do it extremely quickly so that nobody else can reasonably tie you. That's why I gambled.
Yep.
And
sometimes it works out like it did here. Sometimes it happens like the last running of this game where you happen to tie and just immediately die afterwards.
Look,
yeah.
the lucky
I
thing
had the
about my
mindset
position,
of a win is a win, so I didn't really care about the pace as much.
I came into this game with only the goal of winning the continent of North America and not caring too much about Grand Champion. But with my start, I kind of felt like Grand Champion was inevitable, and so I had to go take it. Yep.
So
if it weren't for the throw, you'd have gotten it.
Most of what I have to say, where it's mostly just like hold moves because I'm not too pressed about this. The way I look at it, I just have to figure out how to break the home islands from the coalition, because at this point the coalition does have a pretty strong fleet presence in the home islands.
Yep.
So I just have to figure out how to get around it. And, the European adventure at the same time is a fun sideshow.
Good time.
I'm
Speaking
sure
of the
one
European
of us
adventure,
feels that way.
And I was still working with Russia at this point, despite taking dots out from behind them.
Yes. On that note, hey, Salt, how's Europe going for you?
Pretty well. For once, me and Britain are working together still here. So the deal we made is paying off really, really big right now. Russia has discredited Prussia enough where I'm actually making progress on that front. You can see me breaking into Alsace. Britain's forced me into Amsterdam, and now like I can just kind of start collapsing in that direction. And Prussia, I think they only lose one here. No, they're neutral.
So.
Well, yeah, fair. But yeah, I don't know, they're probably not going to go negative this year, but it's not looking good for them either.
Okay.
But yeah, we're looking really good there. Italy isn't attacking me at all, and with Marseille open, I can actually build a fleet there. And when Italy inevitably attacks me again, I actually have something to defend that now.
Magic.
My dot in Spain might be dotted by Britain, but I am getting other dots that I might deal with Britain. It's not as big of a deal.
There's no reason for Britain to dot you there because that dot isn't part of Africa.
Yeah. I mean, we will see it fall here, but Britain would never go back on this deal, right? My unit in Africa is just too useful for them to hold off the various steps.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Actually, before we go to fall, I should talk about that conspiracy I was mentioning. So once it becomes apparent that Argentina is full throwing to Colombia, I start recruiting my neighbors to full throw to me to tie Colombia again next year. This is the next idea that I have. Is the only possible shot I have at winning this game at this point is if two things happen. One, I need to convince my neighbors to throw dots to me. The games Colombia has this year, if I want to keep it properly tied, I have to keep it within one. Keep in mind, Colombia has 15 now. This is 16, 17, potentially, maybe 18, 19, and let's say 20. Realistically, they can get to 20. This was my calculation. There are ups and downs. There are little permutations here and there where you can have Colombia limited to 19 or maybe have as much as 21, but 20 is about where I'm looking at. So if I want to tie them, I need 19 dots here realistically. And 19 dots can be done with the proper amount of throws. What needs to happen is I need 4 dots, clearly. So it's like 1, 2, the two obvious ones, Houston, Key West, I can walk into them. 3 would be like Vancouver. 4 maybe is Portland, or maybe I can get convoyed into a Spanish dot here or here, right? I can get convoyed across with this army into Spanish dots. I can walk here, I can walk here. So I have 5 candidate dots to get, right? At least I hope you're following. Hope everyone's following. Yeah. I can, with all the throws, I can max out at 20. So I can realistically get within Colombia and tie them and force it to another year. My neighbors don't have too much incentive to do that, honestly, because tying at 15 and then forcing someone back down is quite easy. Tying at like 19 or 20, nobody else on those boards is gonna win ever. It's not happening. So
yeah.
With that in mind,
but
France and Spain do agree to throw to me. They do. Well, I mean, everyone agrees to throw to me, but France and Spain actually do throw to me. France tells me they don't want to give me dots unless they really have to, so I put in some legwork in the press and convince them they really have to give me Houston here, or else the game just ends. Spain is, I think, stressed out, and I do a ton of press with him, and he's like, fine, I just tell me what to do, and I guess I'll throw to you, that type of thing, where I feel kind of bad for pressuring him so hard, but I also kind of don't.
I mean, you have to win, so.
Yeah. And so he's just kind of going to do what I say. And I just going to make it not be too egregious, right? And let's see. So that means with those 2 throws, effectively what's going to happen in spring is I'm going to end up with Houston. I'm going to end up with Key West. I'm going to end up convoying down from Maine to SDO. I choose this dot instead of like through to Cuba because it's slightly... it's easier for me to get from SDO into other dots in the future, right? And if the game goes next year, I'm going to have to keep tying. That's something to keep in mind. So I have those 3 down. The other dots I can get are Portland from Mexico. So the other thing I do, Mexico is kind of ambivalent on whether they want to throw to me or not because they assess that they have no chance of winning if they do that, or really at all. And so they kind of want to preserve their own score. So I can reach out to Russia and I say, hey, Russia, want to support me into Portland to spite Colombia? And Russia is totally down for that. That's good. The other thing I do is to reach out to England and I say, England, could you please move your army up there? But I misphrased it at first, and I asked them to move this way. So, I was a bit stressed at the time.
Yeah, and that mistype actually, because I'm looking at the fall moves on my end, and that press error may...
It didn't. I can tell you it didn't because...
Okay.
Because the English player deliberately refused to change it when I pointed it out to them. So...
Oh, okay.
That's fun.
Yeah. But what happens... That's fun. The other part of this conspiracy that I haven't mentioned yet is I am furiously pressing Colombia. I'm telling them... I understand at this point they want Colombia to win. So my play is not like, hey, you shouldn't help Colombia win. But my play is like, hey, you should at least give me a fair shot. So you should stop throwing to Colombia for this 1 year, but then next year you can go back to throwing. And that is my angle, because if Argentina does moves hostile to Colombia for 1 phase, I can keep Colombia below 20. I can maybe keep them as low as 16. If I can deceive Argentina into keeping Colombia low, I can maybe overshoot them, get my neighbors to overthrow, and get myself to be grand champion instead. And so I spend quite a bit of time on that as well. That is the goal at this point. And so I'm pressing Argentina a lot.
Respond well to that, or what was that like?
Not really. They just kept on apologizing and being like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh no, but I told Colombia I would do this already. I'll think about it." So if we go to fall, you'll see.
Yeah.
Argentina goes through that. They don't resist at all. This is pathetic, by the way. This is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life, and I've seen a lot of diplomacy. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in it. I cannot believe that someone invested any time into diplomacy and did this. Like this is vile.
I don't see how you go into a game, play a bunch of phases where you're trying to win, and then turn around and just give it all away to someone else.
At least ego plays the game.
True. At least ego doesn't
on,
throw.
Even on one dot, ego is not throwing. Ego is holding out in the hopes that somebody will support her to hold.
Yeah.
Without asking anyone to support her to hold.
Well, hopes and dreams and all that. I mean,
At
from
least
here,
it's not walking out.
If this was spring, you'd have a good retreat, actually.
Also,
need to
I
think about
this,
that one.
Is that the first? No, this is the second player that's died.
This is fall,
the second player fully eliminated over the course of this game.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Austria there.
Well, and then all the other ones in the New World get all eliminated as well because,
all of the New World regionals just died to this.
Oopsie. But yeah, you can see up here in North America, England doesn't help, and Mexico also tries to hold themselves in. They even cut Russia right here so that there's no possibility of that ever working. Which is sad because, I wanted
it's respectable if they wanted to score. But
I guess maybe
the only people whose score is recorded are the people who get on the leaderboard, and this is not a leaderboard position for Mexico.
No,
nope.
Mexico didn't do it.
Death.
Didn't make it.
I'm trying to think if there's any other way for me to get more dots from a throw because I didn't end up convoying myself into SDO because Spain was so stressed. I was like, okay, whatever, we're not gonna do that. I was afraid Colombia would do this move, but seeing the moves, I maybe could have gotten off if
you had gotten a convoy into Cuba and moved Savannah to Key West instead. If you convoyed Maine through East Coast through Bahamas into Cuba, that would have done it.
This to 19 and Colombia made it to 20. So I could have, that's a technical tie, but I think there was an issue. The issue is Spain has so many units that you have to actually be supported in.
It's so dense of an area.
Yeah. So the throw doesn't work. I can only max out at 18 unless Mexico or England helps, and because they don't, the game is over. Now I will say the player on Colombia did not KMP. He's a cool guy. He didn't. I resent him a little bit, not too much. It's
frustration.
It's not his fault that Argentina decided to do this, but I am not sure in his position that I would accept this throw. Like I don't know if I would. Because the win wasn't really earned. And I am
not sure in this position I would even trust the throw.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be like, wait, really? Are you actually going to do this? Like, I'm not going to wager my entire game on you actually throwing to me. Because if you do all these moves as Colombia, and then Argentina does not throw, you actually lose.
Yeah, this is doomsday for Colombia if Argentina flips this.
In this phase, it's won. In this phase, it's too late. In spring, if here Argentina stabs you, you die. Like legitimately, you just die because Argentina goes here, Argentina goes like here or something, or they bounce you there and there.
It would maybe not die because they would get a bunch of dots from Argentina as well, but it'd be really messy, really fast.
Well, Argentina could go like here. Argentina can go into here. Argentina can jump here into Rio de Janeiro.
Then Colombia jumps into a bunch of their
and
own
the other thing is Argentina. If Argentina is forcing Colombia to tell them any moves, Argentina can leak all those moves to Peru and Chile.
Yeah,
because see how Argentina supports this move. This means Argentina knows all of the moves being done by Colombia's units here, all of them.
Yeah,
you just know by process of elimination.
Yeah.
Yep, I could actually win Argentina the game if they wanted.
And
yet.
Oh well, in my heart of hearts, I won this game fair and square. And I'll always say I won 1862. There we go.
Yep, I agree with that.
So that is the Americas done for the video.
Yep. I can just make fun of my fellow players
to Asia now. I didn't even bother asking people to try and throw to me because I knew that it was not worth trying to ask France to throw because, France can win from this position. they still have like
Totally.
a genuine fighting chance at pulling this back.
I'm shocked that you
Wait a
don't see it.
This is fall.
Yes, this is fall. Yep. France has a fighting chance here. So it can throw to me. Japan
So
isn't
you
going to
cut out
throw to me.
you cut out at so, by the way.
Ah, great. So from this position, I don't bother asking anyone to throw. Because this is not a position where it would make sense to me for anyone to throw. This is a position where France can still win the game. Spain has no centers they could throw to me, nor do they have any desire to throw to me. Japan is not returning my messages. I'm trying to throw messages at them. And Russia is... I've won the game hard enough in the home islands that I am now competing with Russia for dots again.
What a world.
Which is... It's monumentally good progress. And if we also look at Hong Kong, this is where, and also the convoy from Vladivostok into CHU, this is where I mentioned that for this turn, because I figured, okay, I'm not going to bother trying to stick my finger in the tie. I went for guaranteed moves to set myself up for the next year to win immediately afterwards. And then, looking over at Europe, I get my third center because I am in Stockholm now. I support Russia into Copenhagen, which does dislodge Prussia. So I have finally made good on my promise to help Russia fight Prussia.
There you go.
It just took me taking 3 Russian centers to do it.
I'm sure that was worth the one army that Russia could have built anyways.
Yep. And I even bounced Prussia out of St. Petersburg.
Amazing. That is actually maybe worthwhile, although Russia could have had their own army in Moscow.
Yes, they could have. It could be their army, and it could be their army in Stockholm.
True. Or a fleet. All the options.
I swear, it's like Chinese and Scandinavia is like the weirdest thing that happened in this game. It's so much weird that it was actually like somewhat helping move the region forward.
It helped move the region forward because someone came into the region who actually talked with people.
Yeah.
That's the important qualifier. It is an outside factor that actually plays the game. And speaking of outside factors, Africa.
Yes.
I think at this point the Ottomans are gunboated.
I think so.
I will find out later.
Yes, but for now...
That is an important thing to note. Superstition is controlling their moves, and visibly...
Up until the last phase, he was.
Yeah, the last phase of the proper game.
Yeah.
Like the full game, which is... That is something worth noting. If a gunboated position somehow recovers itself, which is a 1 in a million chance because gunboating usually gets you killed, then if the position is notable enough, he did reach out and get a substitute.
Of course, normally only the one position is getting gunboated. Not every single position in a continent is being gunboated by other different players. So,
well, it's Ottomans, Austria, and there were a few others, I think.
Russia, actually, I think gunboated at the end. Yeah, because Russia and Asia was gunboating at the end of the game, which we will see.
All right.
But yeah. Over to Salt.
Yeah. So Neil, how were you saying earlier that England would never go back on an hour deal here?
Oh.
They tried here, but they got the guess wrong, so it's kind of fine, but not what you want to see, obviously. And then we get dotted by Italy, so we are +2 net, so it's still fine, but obviously could got a little bit better. Me and England did chat after this, like we kind of reorganized our agreement, and I don't know, they kind of apologized for it and said that we were still fine to keep going, but
well, on the bright
this
side,
is why I have multiple fleets here.
On the bright side, one of the conditions for your France to throw to me was that I would have to disband the fleet, so you would have more builds. On the negative side,
Yep.
Mexico dotted France, and France decided not to cover their dot.
Uh-huh. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm still kind of tied to the colonies here. So like my build situation isn't as good as it should be. But
Yeah. Well, you're paying them back for all the support.
yeah, I mean, they did help me survive at the very beginning of this, so I guess I kind of deserved a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of how Europe's going. Italy's still chill with me, though. That's definitely gonna be a fleet in Marseille because we remember what happened the last time Italy asked me to not build a fleet there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of Europe right now. It's mostly gunboated orders, to be fair. Me and England are coordinating a little bit, but as far as I know, nobody else is really coordinating with each other.
Fun.
Yet.
Very fun.
And
There
so
is a
it
yet
goes.
in there.
All right. Well,
Though that yet comes into
this-
play later.
This is pre-blackout, so you can see the final board state across the world.
Yep.
I will say,
Peru
when
is
you were
dead.
talking about best countries, there was no best union. Union had died in every single final iteration of 1862 thus far. So any outcome for me was going to be best union, so I wasn't too stressed about it. But this,
Yep.
I think 18 center union is not going to be broken for a while.
Yeah,
because I have to be
that's
throwing
Union is a
that's really
difficult
strong.
power.
Yeah.
But the more unbreakable one is going to be 20 center Colombia.
Yes, that will not. Well, yeah, that took an even bigger throw.
That is just not ever going to be broken, I don't think. Because, I mean, there's only so many centers even left on the continent.
Yeah.
Like, there's
I mean, there are
only
like a dozen.
There's the 5 that Chile had, and then there's the 3 that Colombia still had. So 28 centers
Colombia
on
has
the continent
4
total.
right there. 4.
They have. Oh, they do have a 4th. Okay, so yeah, 29 centers total on the continent, which means that even if you're running that game solo, where it's just borderline impossible to get a bigger Colombia than that.
Yep.
Without an even worse throw, which
should never happen again.
Yes.
You would hope.
Hope, yes.
All right. So then we look at what happens after blackouts. And as you can see in a blackout, all the centers become neutral and all the units previously on the board become neutrals or whatever.
Garrisons.
Garrisons. I actually wasn't going to build here, but then Superstition pinged me and let me know that the build, because the builds stay on, it makes it harder for people to get in. So I just entered my builds anyways to be funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, why not?
Yeah. So there we go. And so
Might as well.
we're on to the rest of the game.
Yes. And so
on we go.
at this point, this is where the grand conspiracy enters its next phase, where me, Brown, and Salt are now in spirit. We are coordinating for the 3 of us to be the winners of our respective boards.
So,
Yep.
To be clear, Brown is England. Just for everyone who hasn't paid attention too much,
Yes.
Brown is England in Africa and Europe.
Yep. And Brown, I'll say this of him: he's got good tactics.
Yeah, Brown is very good at tactics, but just doesn't do enough press.
One of the funny things that
typically.
I remember is from a couple years ago in Revolution Diplomacy, when Brown played Naples and basically never had an ally, but still survived to the end of the game by ratting and gunboating.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Very good at tactics. Press is. I'm going to go out on a limb and actually go ahead and say press is just not the best.
His press here actually was significantly better than what I normally saw from him, actually. So this is a step up.
Yes, because he regularly talked to people.
Mm.
Yes.
But the issue is when your press doesn't reflect your moves, that causes issues. But he has no reason to try and sabotage me in Asia. I mean, it's a good deal. I win, then he wins, then you win. And that
Yep.
should be the way it is. No,
I do like the sound of a win right about now.
yes.
W.
So my position in Japan in the home islands is really simple. Looking over there, I have a guaranteed take on Kyoto. Oh, I should have a guaranteed take on Kyoto.
Let me pan
And
over real quick.
yep. So Kyoto is pretty much guaranteed,
You pop,
if not outright. And Nagasaki is guaranteed afterwards. And the only real way that I don't take Kyoto and Nagasaki is if Russia, Asia decides to wake up and start communicating. And so I hatch a scheme because I'm at 14 centers. And if I'm taking 2 centers, I can afford to lose one. So I go to Russia and I tell them, hey, you get to have Hokkaido this year, for free. I'm just giving it to you. No strings attached.
How kind of you.
Because the string is that by taking that offer, she throws the game.
Yeah, because Bop. I mean, presumably, right? This is just my
this
thoughts.
is like
you go
guaranteed 15 for you.
there.
I don't see a way you lose it.
And
If you convoy down here,
she
you actually
does
can also
also
get Edo.
still have, she does still have like slow press. And as part of the deal, I do ask her to tell me what moves she's making beforehand. And she says she's moving to CHU, so I can't do the convoy because that support will get cut.
Yep.
But that's all right. Because I can just take Kyoto with Chu.
Boom.
Because if To is moving to Chu, then that's a support that I know doesn't get cut.
And suddenly,
That's guaranteed.
And well, except I'm not going to move in there because I don't need to move in there because I
True.
can just. I am at this point, I am chill. I am making less than purely optimal moves because I believe that the game's over.
you're kind of
for
like
me.
me earlier, where you're
I've-
like, you know what? No, there's no logical reason for anyone to tie me. Like we're.
I
on a
mean,
pretty
look-
good-
I mean, look at the unit lineup in like mainland Asia. Look at that.
Yeah, there's no getting by that.
Yeah, this is a stalemate line. This is beyond stalemate. I mean, look at the fleet situation as well. 6 fleet, not like in the
Oh, up here, yeah.
around Korea, like that. There's nothing. There's no getting through this. It's
The
just a
only-
wall.
The only way anyone gets through it, I think, is if Spain, if somehow this is inconclusive, if Spain goes up here, right, and then you like build an army and you convoy it into Siberia, and then you can like jump into Irkutsk. But you'll see that coming a million miles away. You'll just be like, oh, okay. Dot 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 dot.
Well, I could not even because I go to OMS and then I just move Siberia.
No, yeah, that also.
I just bounce and like Vladivostok even, I can just bounce out of Siberia. Because
There you
that's a
go.
coastline.
Easy.
So this is an unassailable position. I've done a really good job at using the time of waiting for Union to black out to make this position one that just doesn't lose. The game is done. And so going into spring, well, unless Salt, do you have anything to say about your position?
It's a position. This is kind of the point where I start to look at Europe and like obviously we're not winning in the Far East. So I kind of have to pull out something. So far, I've been looking at Europe and just trying to like build it up into something better. Try to like make sure I can't get dotted by anyone.
But suddenly you have 8 dots.
And now it's like I have to take this position and somehow win with it. And it's not terrible, but it's not what I would describe as great either. It's just kind of in the middle of everything. The one silver lining is that England is still willing to work with me and that they won't fight me. But other than that, like pretty much every other front I have is going to be a grind to get dots out of. So that's kind of how I'm looking at things right now. As for like the deal we made, I didn't take it too seriously on my end, just because there was like a whole like me and England already had a deal going on, and that was just kind of like reaffirming what we had. And I didn't see a way that you specifically could help my position that much here. Just because like we're still like a few moves apart, but like it's
Yeah.
nice to have. So I just kind of like went with it.
I will say also that I remember doing this and I looked back and impressed with you, Salt, where you were depressed. I said back in so this year is 1870, right? Blackout.
You
Yeah.
think so?
No, blackout is 1868 actually. This is 1868 this happens, this blackout. I told you back in 1866. I was like, you have a good comeback brewing in Europe. Your position is salvageable. That was when your position is this 1868, like 67. It was
I
in.
remember seeing that, and I just did not believe you at all. I did not think that I would be able to salvage this.
Where's the?
But it's been slowly getting better and better as time gets on.
I told you in this position it was salvageable after these moves.
Yeah, and I just
So,
didn't believe you.
There you go. King of Prussia
But,
proven correct.
it's looking better. It's looking playable.
There we go.
I think we can go on to spring moves.
Time for moves. All right, Asia.
Yeah.
Nothing
So as
unexpected.
we see, Kyoto gets blown up. That's a forced disband. Nagasaki is now guaranteed. France, Asia is they're trying. They're trying to hold back the tide, but
Yeah, this
I mean
conflict
they,
is
they
nuts.
get knocked out of Burma because I mean even with like, it's effectively guaranteed. I'm not going to just let them have South Asia because I do still need those dots. And we do also see me here helping out England in ARS because I'm feeling charitable. I'm going to help people out with their moves.
Yeah. Well, you guys have agreed that
had
you're
that
going to
pact,
win. Then England's
too.
going to win. Then France is going to win.
That's on paper the agreement.
Well, you can't break
and
your
then,
agreements though.
looking
You
over,
you can't break agreements. So
Yeah, no,
yeah,
just
something
not
like that.
allowed. It's a rule.
Then looking over at Scandinavia, we have, and this is where I realized that Europe was not worth saving.
On fire.
Because I remember I spent around 3 hours, give or take, trying to get either Salt or Brown to coordinate anything up here. Like supports, optimal moves, maybe like some cut supports, and nothing. Not a thing.
Yeah.
And I also I tried talking with Russia. I said, hey, I have my 3 centers that I want. What do you want for my units to do? And they left me on red. And so I just said, okay, you are no longer the patron of the Chinese expedition. And so I hold Moscow.
there you go.
And it is pretty simple from there. I do remember I did try to get Salt to reign in the Far East France to get them to like throw faster so that Scandinavia would black out and Salt could get the dots faster, but the Far
I
East
actually
France was
did ping them in our void about that, and it was a really short conversation. I told them that we had this patch and that I was supposed to like get them to like not throw, but like not
not throw,
contest
but
the
like
win.
yeah.
And it was they just kind of said that they wanted to that they didn't think that they would either, but they still wanted to like fight it out a little bit and just see
I
where
can
things went
respect
from
that.
there.
And
And I
I
was
do
like, all right,
respect
that's
that
fine.
because as we will see, not this immediate next turn, but they do choose to fight it out.
I will say
we
I'm
will
just I'm
see how
reading
that goes for them.
I'm reading your void right now, France, and the message from your Asia player is based on the fact that England has constantly lied and stabbed and betrayed everything he said to me. I don't really buy it. So all that talk we had about the Asia or the Far East England player is actually coming back to bite China for some reason.
A little bit. We're all getting along very nicely, though. I'm sure.
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I do. So this is also where doing press with everyone on the board, no matter their position, is important because Chile's move. Chile
Yes,
bounced France out of the Indian
Oh yeah,
Ocean,
Chile
and
still
this time I know
exists.
why they did it, and it is because I told them to.
and they could
Because
have
I
done
saw that
something
if France,
self-interested.
they could have done that, but I told them, hey, you should do that instead because I am the only. Because what I told them was your position is dead. You should use it to help me instead. Which, to be fair, their position is
Is
dead.
dead. Is dead. Yeah. The only way they ever do anything is if this gets stalemated forever and they somehow occupy these two to get controlled territory and build another fleet.
Yeah.
Or they can,
And
I guess they
so,
can try to get someone to support them into South Pacific and return
and
home.
go home. But
Yeah.
no, that's not happening.
No.
So their position is dead, and I tell them, yeah, go ahead, just bounce Indian Ocean for me so that I have this win guaranteed. Put you out of your misery before they kill you. You can still appear on the scoreboard.
Yep.
And they do it because that's what happens when you're the only person to talk with someone.
Good stuff.
Which is
Yep.
this will also this so that's the first instance of that. And as I realize that Europe is completely dead for press, this will become more relevant. So that's my part. It's a victory lap.
It's
Yeah.
time to look at the fun
Um,
move. Actually, let's look at Africa. Ooh.
Europe is like completely devoid of press. Yeah, like it is a pure tactics game from here on out. Me and England are coordinating moves, but as you can see with the bounce and sell, it's like we're still not be coordinating that way. Like, so the press is just barely there. Is gunboat for pretty much everyone. Me and Italy aren't getting along. Obviously, they see that the fleet build, and they just know that we're not going to be friends. Ottomans are not even around anymore. Russia
Yeah.
isn't doing press. Prussia isn't doing press. So there's just not a lot to say anymore.
Yep.
All right.
Which
Next
does make the
phase.
phases faster to get through.
Yeah, let's just we
True.
can just roll through it. Hey, it looks like you got that. You get that one dot you got in or two dots here in Japan.
Yep. 2 dots in
You
Asia. And then if
did
we look at Europe,
did lose Hokkaido, so
yeah, I did lose that, but
15.
that was
That's fine.
understandable.
Part of the plan,
Now, if we
really.
take a look over at Europe as well, I went +4 this year because Russia was free lunch.
Yep.
Mm.
Because I
Just
thought,
let you walk it.
game's gonna end. I might as well stab, get them for all they're worth, and 5 center Chinese Europe
The
with 2
century.
units.
It's the century of humiliation, but the other way around.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, Russia just gave China all their dots. You just gotta take it when you can.
Yep. And there is something here. The France Asia player made note of this. As King of Prussia mentioned, England cannot be trusted. And England has decided that for whatever reason, they are going to send their fleet in ARS instead of trying to take centers in Africa to win the game. They want to move to SND.
Sind.
And this resurrects the Far East England general, the one who notoriously cannot be reasoned with
That's
and is
hilarious.
a complete terrorist with regards to ratio of press done to moves committed to. The ratio is inverse, to be clear.
Yeah.
But yep, Japan is fully dead after this turn. They are wiped out of the home islands. They're gone. But looking at Africa, England is able to force a tie.
This is 15 centers.
Yep.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm bad at counting.
Madagascar.
Karakoram
Yeah,
as well. If you didn't count that.
14. And where's the next one?
Sudan.
Oh,
Sudan
yeah,
is another
15.
one.
There it is, Khartoum.
Yeah.
15. There you go. I can count.
Yep. So they get the tie. And I I see this and I go to Brown and understandably it's like, hey, we had a deal. I'm like obviously gonna win. And I was irritated with Brown over this, but I figured, okay, there's no reason to get mad at someone because it's the end of the game. Like, why should I bother fighting someone when the game's ending anyway? And well, we'll see
Got
how
it.
that turns out.
Got
So
a good response?
England does. Oh, I got a response. If I'm not sure it's worth dragging up onto the screen, but I'll take a look at the press and see if it's worth bringing in another screenshot. Because I do remember the interaction was interesting for sure. England, China. Here we are. Yep. So if we go. Yep. So what Brown says is. So what I say is that I'm not going to hold trying to prevent the tie against him because I figure he's. Oh, hold on. Is that when
You
this
just copy
happened?
paste it.
I'm trying to figure out when this press happens, because there is a dead zone for press. Okay, yeah. So this move happens, and then I don't really say anything about it immediately. And the press that's worth screenshotting is going to happen next phase. Actually, is it here? No, yeah, it is here. Hold on. Very back and forth. Yeah. So this is also where it's important that I entirely do not care about the order of victory comes into play. Because Brown does care about order of victory.
I'm not sure why Brown would care about order of victory now, though, after they just didn't resist me basically at all in taking down North America, but
Yeah.
you know,
I guess I don't know. Maybe he saw yours as one that he couldn't stop.
that's true. I
Maybe.
think the stopping was not
couldn't.
going to happen.
Yeah, but Brown, it turns out, even while we had this conspiracy, he did care about the order of victory. Yep. And so I'm still looking at this as like England can be trusted because they just want to win. I am acquiescing to all of his demands because there's no point in fighting against order of victory after Grand Champion. So logically, you would assume that England would act rationally, that they are getting every single one of their demands met, and so they just go with it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think either of you would do in this situation if you're just being handed everything on a silver platter.
I like free stuff.
Yep. I would take the win. I want to try to fight it.
There's no downside to what I'm asking of him either. So that's my part of this. Whether or not he sticks with that deal, we will see. But I think
actually the downside of sticking to what you say is if England can tip the scales so that France wins East Asia, then someone else has to win Europe, and I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, no. If
I think Italy is the runner-up naturally.
Maybe
it'd probably be Italy,
but maybe
like from this board, Italy is the runner-up. But if China doesn't win in Asia, then there is also a surprisingly pleasant
China.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be insane.
That
it's possible too.
Yeah, you color Finland, you have Scandinavia to build in.
This is a surprisingly present Chinese position in Europe.
But then also, if you need builds, you just walk this way.
Yeah, like I just go home.
You return.
Take a vacation.
It's the long march, but longer because it's across all of Siberia.
Yeah.
Again.
This scenic route.
Salt, is there anything here for you? Any sort of negotiations happen on your end, or is it gunboat time?
Pretty much gunboat. Me and England are still cornering a little bit, but as you can see from the failed moves, it's not going super well. I am just gunboating orders here on out. I'm still doing what England wants in Africa. We're trying to make Italy's day as miserable as we possibly can. So England's my friend there. And that is the only person I have any ability to talk to. So
Yeah.
there's not a lot of room for scheming or anything. The only other person that's like online and talks is the person that I am actively at war with. So
Italy, yes.
yeah,
Yep.
and
There are
Igor's not very happy
yeah.
with me,
There are a
obviously.
total of 7 people doing 5. Is it? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 people doing press right now, and 2 of them are on the board that China is about to win.
Yep. And England is not going to
Yep.
be much further behind that.
Nope. I
Very
think
fun,
that's
very fun
everything for
time
this
for us.
phase.
Yeah, we move on.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's just wrap this up now. Adjustments, not much to talk about in bills, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
do
have an army in Paris.
build in every open center,
Yeah, well
which
now,
is
well, now
funny.
what you do is you just if you need to, you
Yeah, I
just
just paint
corral
the map.
every unit.
Paint the map.
Yeah,
Just
it's
in
map painting
case,
time.
this all gets tied up, just pour units into Europe.
Yep.
All right.
But it's not going to tie because we have a deal.
Yeah,
I
you
don't need
can't
to
break
worry
it.
about that.
You can't
England
break
can be trusted.
England.
And
Oh,
then England can't be trusted.
Oh,
So this is where the Ottomans being gunboat becomes relevant, because I go to the Ottomans and I have this funny idea, because I expected the game to end, but Russia is still alive. So I look at the board state and I conclude that Russia could potentially go minus everything here if we coordinate correctly. And so I have this whole deal that I try to work out with Salt and Brown, where neither of them pick up the phone,
yeah.
to make sure that Russia gets killed in Hamburg. And it would be Salt taking it. And Brown wants to support Salt. So you would think that Brown would work with this deal where we blow up Hamburg. But
no.
This is actually my fault. I did ask Brown to move to SKA there.
yeah,
In exchange for my continued help in Africa. My plan was to like backfill H&O and like support myself to Hamburg and fall. That was kind of what I was trying to do here, but it got bounced, so
yeah,
didn't work out.
Sucks to suck.
yeah. My idea was just take Hamburg outright, which would have worked better.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't,
In hindsight, it
if
would
I
have
didn't
worked
get
better.
bounced, I think I could have gotten it and would
Yeah.
have been fine. But yeah, it
The
is what
other
it
thing,
is.
though, is that because the way that I think we went over this earlier, but superstition gunboating, it's not true gunboat. If you
Because
get
they are the
press in
GM.
with the gunboat position for within the first 24 hours of press, you can ask them to do things. And so I tell them, hey, it would be really funny if you just blew Russia's position to smithereens in Europe. And if you look at what the Ottomans do here,
That's what they do.
Yep.
and I even told them that Africa is a lost cause, Brown is going to win it, and it is best to get your, and like that's why they did this convoy as well. It's best to just move north and become a European power,
Get your
because
ass out of
Africa
there.
is dead and you should refocus on Europe. And so looking over at the Far East, because this is the other area where moves are happening, there was one build that we sort of glossed over, an army in Pyongyang. And that just convoys into Chu. Everything else is just sort of positioning, getting ready for fall. And then I would like to take a detour to SND, the English unit in Asia. So,
Yeah.
France in Asia negotiated with the recently revived English Far East general to take Bombay. And they didn't. And because they didn't, and France decided to try and rely on England to help, get China below 15, they end up bouncing over Bombay for this first turn of the year. And
So I think what you are forgetting is that the game is most fun when you're violating your agreements and not doing what you said, no matter the outcome for you personally.
yep.
And
This
so
does
Absolutely.
also mean that, so Far East England violated this agreement with France. They also violated an agreement with me by doing this, because I wanted them to dislodge the Indian Ocean fleet, to get it out of there. Because if you look, Brown built a fleet in Madagascar. They could have very easily blown that fleet out of the Indian Ocean, and we would have had our very clean victory. Brown takes all of Africa. I take all of Asia. It's clean. It works. But I read the press afterwards, and Brown's approach to Asia was being dictated by the Far East general, who was not listening to anyone but the voices in his head.
That's so much worse.
The voices.
It is horrendous.
That
put-
player is the
and-
most terrorist player that I've ever played with.
in a room with rats, rubber rats.
That's
Rubber rats
crazy.
Crazy. Yeah,
So
I was
that's
crazy once.
That's the situation in India, and I look at this position and I figure, okay, surely he doesn't betray me 3 turns in a row. And Salt, I will pass to you if you have anything to add.
This is just moves,
Same
right?
stuff. I'm positioning to take Norway here. I don't think you mind, but yeah,
I
that's
think
kind of the plan.
we specifically negotiated that I would be fine with giving you Norway. And I think
Yeah.
we also negotiated afterwards that's like, hey, Brown, you should support me into Copenhagen so that Salt can walk into Stockholm afterwards. So that the win
I don't
is
think
just
that's what you
free.
did.
No. Brown's approach to China was dictated by the Far East general.
That's all I got though. We can move on to
Yeah.
fall.
On we go. All right, fall. Hey, someone decided not to cover their dot.
Yes,
Ooh.
because I figured that England would be reasonable and see that they were winning Africa anyway, and there is no reason to try and kick China below 15.
I have to say, Tephra,
And
I think
yet-
by this point you should have learned your lesson.
Yeah,
I
no,
should've.
there's no reason to trust
should've.
Britain here at all.
I should have, but I figured, to me, it simply did not make sense. It was inconceivable that they would be this boneheaded. However, if we pan, so I do lose 2 centers here, so I do drop to 13. But then we look at Japan and
Just
Look at
right
that.
back up.
right back up to 15, and then
16 too,
more
'cause,
important,
Hong Kong.
16 because of Hong Kong, because
Oh my
it
God.
turns out that the last center wasn't going to be, India or Japan. The winning center was Hong Kong, which I had neglected from the start of the game because I did not want to get involved in the colonial affair.
I
Right
love
next to
how-
all your home centers too.
I love how the
Yep.
end of the game is almost like prevented by some BS play from England and France and whatever, but then that misorders and lack of communication between France, Spain, and Russia mean that you just win anyways, right?
It's
Because
the Russia player was
They
on
held.
gunboat.
if
Oh
Russia
my
had
God, I
held,
just support held. It would have been fine.
if Russia had held, they would have kept that dot. If Spain had held here, that dot is kept, and then you're only on 14,
Actually,
and they actually have a chance
See,
to win.
the thing
Asia.
about Hong Kong is I actually talked with the France and Spain players after this, and they outright said that they didn't think it would be necessary to hold Hong Kong. It did not occur to them that with this position, I would go after Hong Kong,
Really?
which
They probably got
Yeah,
used to you
yeah,
not
that
doing
is-
it.
Insane. You have 3 units on it.
Well, they probably got used to him not
Yes.
going after it, and so you just kind of, after a point, you're like, okay, we can gamble that in exchange for guaranteeing this and getting a good position over here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. that's what they figured. And what they failed to consider was that the board state is dynamic, and I was laying off of Hong Kong because I knew it was indefensible.
You don't need to defend it if you win.
Yep. And so Hokkaido is taken, Edo is taken, Hong Kong is taken, and if we look over at Europe,
Isn't Europe fun?
Europe is fun.
That's not how deals work.
Yes.
Yeah,
And if
Britain betrayed me there a bit too.
if Brown had supported Stockholm to Copenhagen, Salt would have actually been able to get through into Stockholm and then potentially just sweep into St. Petersburg and just
Instant
have the
win.
whole northern border of Europe secured.
Brown decides to
have been
go out
to-
screwing over everybody around him. Basically.
I'm glad I
And
was out of this
I
game and didn't
talked
have to
to
care
him-
anymore. I'm very glad I just didn't
I
have to
talked
care.
about this after the game with Brown, and he said he did this to help you.
It did not help me.
It did not help
No.
you.
It
And if he
almost
had
lost you the
gone
game.
with my deal, it actually did. And at this point, also, if we look at ARS, this is the last thing I do that really defines the game. I have a dislodge from ARS, and I could retreat into Baghdad. If I retreat into Baghdad, the
You
Ottomans go neutral this year. Sorry, they go negative this year. They have a disband.
Yeah, because
Actually, I don't remember what
I
all
think-
the Ottomans.
No, they
Let's
were
see, they
plus.
have-
They would have been plus because they lost Cairo. They're going to lose Aden to blackout, but they don't before builds happen. They
Yeah,
gain
so-
Athens and Odessa and
Bu-
Bucharest.
and Bucharest. Yeah,
It's not
so
about
they
the
gain
number.
3.
It is not about the number of builds they have. It's about build locations being open.
Yes. So if I walk into Baghdad, then they cannot build in Baghdad.
And we'll see why that becomes
And-
important momentarily.
Yep. And so I choose to retreat into. So the other thing is Somalia actually moved to Aden. This is
Yeah.
this wasn't on the map, but that was an adjudication error. Som is in Aden, so the Ottomans do go up 3, down 2. And with my retreat, I move it to Somalia rather than into Baghdad. So the Ottomans do get a build.
There you go.
And that's the Asia board done. I think we have one more look at it before blackout.
Yep, this is before blackout, and this is Asia and Africa both gone. Bop.
Yep.
And then there was one.
And suddenly, if we look at the Ottoman units and what they have to worry about from their northern front. And
These
when
look
we at
really
what-
nice. I wish you might have left things a little bit more contested for them. You know, maybe don't give them
Yeah,
the
actually,
free walk to
you do all this talking
Moscow.
about how Brown was violating your agreement, and then you violated the agreement by not crippling the Ottomans.
Yeah, but that would be mean, and that was my gunboat position that I
Yeah,
restored. To the
You
actual
know, you can
position.
make things a little bit easier for me.
Well,
Now
don't
I gotta
worry.
worry
If Brown
about
had told me
the
to
Scandinavia
Copenhagen.
position.
Don't worry, we're gonna see something really funny about 2 seconds. Are you guys ready to go to the moves? Or I guess
Sure.
do we want to go to the moves, or do we want to theory craft for 5 minutes how this position works?
Which one? The Ottomans?
It's just this
Or
entire
mine.
position. Because we were talking in spectator chat, and basically what we thought was from this position, there is a decent chance of anybody winning this game because you have such a hard time
Except
getting
Russia.
Yeah, except for Russia's
Yeah.
dead, but anybody else can win.
Russia and Prussia are both dead.
Prussia has a
Spain
Prussia has a
can't
shot.
win too.
Prussia has an outside
Spain
chance.
too.
We have an outside shot.
No, Spain can win.
No, Spain actually
I
has a great chance.
disagree. Spain has too few everything. It takes
So,
so long for
Salt.
Spain to get to a win.
Salt, are you ready for how Spain has a chance at winning?
Let's hear
my
it.
theory crafting for Spain winning. You do this. You start with these 2 moves. Then in fall you convoy the army down to Frey. Then the next year you bring the fleet in to there, and you bring the army across from West Africa to CCO, and you conquer all of Africa. This fleet doesn't move any further. The fleet goes back up here, and you get CT on these 2 things. And what you do is you get
Sure.
2 or 3 builds per year, and you pump them into Lisbon and into Dublin. And eventually, if you do not win within 3 years, Salt, you will have an avalanche of Spanish fleets and armies crushing you from the west.
Yep.
If Spain plays
I
it right,
kinda
yeah,
see that.
they have a good chance of winning.
This Europe position is a complete mess, but it is a mess that everyone has a chance with. Because the Ottomans, they have that same route as well, except they go up through Moscow and St. Petersburg.
Yeah, they just take
They have
over
an even more
Asia.
immediate
And then they go
route
up
to do exactly
around.
that.
And then they go around too if they really want to. They can take over all of Asia. It's just free.
Yeah, because
You left them a free walk. Yeah,
I did. Yes.
that's
and they
fun.
have, and now they don't even have the motive to go fight in Africa because why would they? It's blacked out, and those
Yep.
Asia dots are all free. because of how
Wish
dominant
I
the
had
Chinese
a
position in Asia was.
pre-walk like that, you
You
know?
would have
Would've
if Brown had supported Stockholm into Copenhagen.
I literally gave Brown like moves to do, and he just didn't do them, and thought that this would be better for me.
We've all
So
learned a valuable
that's
lesson
fine.
in this game about who to work with.
Yes.
Because
I think we have all learned.
as it turns out, Tephra and I are actually decent allies who don't betray our deals too often, at least not for no reason. Where
Yeah,
there are
it
some
has to
people
be
in this
like
game.
yeah, the Russia stab and the Japan stab were the two big stabs that I made, and the rest of it was just solid tactics. And I think
basically committed genocide on CSA. But other than that,
I mean, it's
stabbed
CSA, it's deserved.
Prussia, and then everybody else attacked me first. So I've only made the one stab this game.
your reputation's already beyond repair, and so is mine, honestly.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's not
cooked.
coming
We're
back.
cooked.
Your
True.
reputation's already
Charbroiled.
been burned.
I have stopped trying.
Character assassination.
Yep. Okay. But that was the theory crafting. I think Prussia has an outside chance at winning, but it requires some real shenanigans here. It requires
Requires me to
Russia.
not kill them, and I will.
Well, first you need to want Vienna or something. Like Prussia says, you can have Vienna. I'll move here to cooperate or something. But basically, you have to break through Lithuania and start getting built. I think.
Yeah.
All
of the outside chances are reliant. So France and Italy, their routes to winning are pretty simple. They just punch through the middle line.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone else has to work off of the outside angles.
And
the
all
Ottomans,
of those are dependent on a certain somebody being a roadblock.
Holding the line. Yes. The Ottomans, I think honestly, our theory crafting was that the Ottomans were more likely to win this board than Italy because of how hard of a time Italy has breaking through Middle Europe versus how rapidly the Ottomans can get out into places.
I think if everyone plays properly, Ottomans might actually be a favorite in this position.
Fez being a part of this map too is also pretty huge because I can just really screw over Italy's
That
chances.
is what really kills Italy more than everything else. Fez being a European tile.
Yeah, this.
Yeah.
Killer.
The fact that I can have that there just forced in have to put units to keep everything there is really huge. So
if Italy wants to win,
can't do as much as they want to.
One way is to try to break the center. The other way is to just go kill the Ottomans, but they just can't because if they ever move away, they lose.
Yep.
All right, so good theory crafting.
In theory, they could.
Yeah, I mean,
and they can't convoy because that just takes way too long.
Well, I mean, eventually you can convoy armies in and kill it, but by that point, the game's over.
It's just too long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So Spain moves.
Yep.
Well, Spain's doing those moves I talked about.
My goal here is just take the north. If I kill Russia and Prussia, and I just take the neutrals.
Quick interruption. I noticed a certain support file that may or may not have instantly lost the game.
I asked Russia to support me there, and they said yes. That is literally it.
That is an instant game over. Game over right there. That was game.
Yep.
Well, that wasn't game, but that was very close to game. There's game later, and we'll show it to you. We'll show it to all of you guys.
Oh yeah.
But that's a
fun times
very
for
bad
France, though.
You can actually see it a tiny bit up there in the scroll bar at the top of the screen.
Well, that
when it becomes game.
That doesn't show in the recording. Actually, I have it set so they can't see that.
Excellent. That's just for us.
It's up above, right up here, up above. Let's see.
Yes.
This is about as high as the people watching can see.
Oh, okay.
And then, there's about this much margin from there to the scroll bar for people watching.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about.
Yeah, Russia not going after me is huge here because I can just keep advancing the position in the north.
This isn't Russia not going after you. This is Russia throwing the game to you. Let's be clear.
Pretty much, yeah.
Let me be clear. I can't do an Obama. I have to yell.
It's fun though. I definitely approve of this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great move.
Yep. Sure. And it is worth noting the Ottomans are still on gunboat.
Yep.
This is still a gunboat position. I think if the Ottomans had moved Odessa to Moscow and Bucharest to Odessa, they may have been able to get up north fast enough to contest Salt after Stockholm got blown through. But
yeah, like you can get up to Oslo quick enough to maybe halt the advance a little bit, but it's tough.
Yeah, I have
that's-
like the backline fleet though, so it's still.
that does also require like a player presence.
Yeah.
Because gunboat, you're going to be focused on make sure Italy doesn't stab me. Which this is also
Italy has no reason
the-
not to. I don't know why they didn't go for it here, to be fair.
Because they don't have a good
Because Italy
stab.
needs
Oh.
dots.
Italy doesn't
They
have
need
a good
just
dots
stab.
didn't-
though.
They do
Moving
need
away
dots.
isn't the answer, I think.
They need to hold the line.
The problem is if you stab
Line
this
is
way,
held.
if the problem is if you stab this way on the Ottomans, they will retreat. The fleet here, they
Into-
have this convoy, and then they'll be pressuring you like this forever. And they have this
Well,
army
no,
here
what
to
they
come.
would do is they retreat. They could retreat the fleet to MNR instead and just go into one of your dots outright.
No, oh yes, actually, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that because they moved this army here, but yes, that's also an option. They just take a free dot.
Yep. And then they still blow you out of Athens.
Yep, and they keep this, and you die.
Yep. So what Italy is doing here, this is them, and I'm pretty sure next turn what they should do is convoy MNR to Tripoli with support from Tunisia.
Yeah,
And
then
after that,
clear.
they can force disband Army Fez. And
Yeah.
just get that thing out of their hair for the rest of the game.
I think there was
but
like
will they
some
do that?
thought on how they wanted to like keep that army on the board so I couldn't rebuild it in Europe.
That's
it's
not reasonable because
I think that
If they
I
just
don't know
dis-
if it was Italy thinking that, but I know there's some people talking about that in like the specs chat.
that's not a good idea because if they can disband it, then they can just start taking centers in North Africa, which also
Yeah.
count for Europe. And again, you just put on some glasses. There are dots right there in Algiers. There's a dot right there in Cairo, and they're garrisons. They're not going to get support help. You just need 2 strength.
True.
Brown is
Yep.
no longer playing the game. You can just take that.
Thank God.
Let's go to fall here and talk about moves there.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, the map is expanded because someone's moving fleets down, but Spain made a mistake. They didn't convoy. Ooh.
No.
At this point, I am talking a little bit to Spain. They've been feeling like kind of guilty for a while now because they stabbed me way back when we could have had a perfectly good alliance against Britain. So we are talking a little bit, and like I think I've like guilted them enough to where they won't go after me here. So this is why I feel kind of comfortable leaving my backline this exposed to them. Like I Spain's stats and things kind of get bad, but I fundamentally believe that Spain wouldn't go for it here. I get the guesses right on Prussia as well, so I lose some controlled territory, but I do get Berlin, which is arguably better.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
If you
a
had
dot.
guessed, if you had guessed even better, you would have gotten 2 dots.
I didn't think Prussia would actually move
Vacate.
out of
Yeah.
Berlin, to be fair.
Yeah, that's a
I
crazy
think this
move.
news set is kind of insane from them, but oh well.
They could have gotten away with this
Uh,
whole thing I was talking about earlier, by the way.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's probably better for them too.
Yep, because you did want Vienna. You decided that was what you
I
wanted.
do want Vienna. I know, like that. I only get Vienna if the Ottomans tap, and they're not doing that for me. But I
Out
need
of-
to like show Italy that I'm willing to go for Vienna, so that they just keep supporting it instead of like actually making moves. If Italy doesn't move on this front at all, then I can like take my time relatively in in the north, and like I counted it out. If I take Prussia, Scandinavia, and Dublin, then that is exactly enough for me to win. So I don't actually need to take any dots off of the Italians. I just need to hold that front there.
This
Out of
encircles it.
curiosity, you say Ottomans weren't going to tap Budapest for you. Did you ask them?
I did not ask them, no. I just
But it's-
assumed that
But
they
it's
wouldn't do
suicidal
it,
to do it. It is
which is
suicidal
my
to do it.
bad, to be fair.
It
I
is.
mean,
It is an objectively
Superstition.
bad move for them to do that.
Superstition does like he did say that he will like if you ask he will be like, is that actually like in my interest at all?
Yeah, which is why he decided to rip Russia to pieces when I asked him to do it.
Dots are good.
But
yeah,
yeah.
at this point it's kind of clear to everyone except Spain that they need to team up against me, or things
Or
start to go
else.
wrong.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's go to
Yeah.
adjustments. It goes all the way back out, but you can see Spain builds army right there, and nothing else. They can't build anything
That
else.
fleet in Brest is exactly to make sure that Spain can't
Can't
mess with me at all.
He could have bid.
Well, if I go to
If they convoy to
the
Ireland.
channel, which is my plan with that unit, then anything Spain can do doesn't really matter.
He should.
If they
he should-
convoy to IRI, what they should do is just convoy to IRI, not even bother going
Yeah.
around,
Oh yeah, we talked
because
about this.
they can just
inspection.
directly take Eddie.
It's
Yep.
directly in.
Yep.
Cell doesn't connect to. Oh no, it does. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they
Okay.
could do that.
Right there.
You could have lost right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Spain still feels bad, so they didn't do it.
And as long as you don't point
Spoilers,
that
I
out
guess,
to them, they
but-
won't realize it.
Hesitation is defeat, and they hesitated a lot.
Yep.
Yep. On that note, moves. We can just wrap this up pretty quickly. I think it's pretty self-explanatory from here. Because Spain moves
Africa is
the
a
wrong direction.
misorder.
What are you doing? Move the Spain in the wrong direction. With the fleet. What are you doing? It's supposed to go this way.
Censor it.
Manual censorship.
I personally approve though. I think this was a great move from Spain.
Let me just quickly. I have a little thing I can do actually.
I don't
Oh, is it
see
time for another box?
what's wrong with this, to be honest. I think it was great.
I gotta change the font size. 288 might be a bit much.
Maybe a bit.
All right, so we can evaluate the
Maybe they
position
just
from
want me
there.
to win after all of our trials together.
All these trials and tribulations, and for what?
Death.
For nothing at all.
As for other moves, you see me cover Norway because I'm not dumb. I see the angle.
The Ottomans outright told you that they would be going after Norway, didn't they?
I don't think they did, but I did say in my void that I specifically covering for that. Like I saw the angle for them to go after, and Soup's probably read that, so I don't know. But I was covering Norway regardless.
That doesn't factor into his moves, but I think it's just logical for both of you to go that way.
Yeah. Fez in Africa really sucks. I support held the wrong space, and I can no longer hold the Italians back in Africa.
Yep, it would be a really bad mistake to have made if, I don't know, your opponents were trying to stop you from winning. But
yeah, hopefully it doesn't end up mattering. But I'm now on a timer because Italy can now get builds.
Yes, you must win.
Yep.
That's not what you want to see.
You don't say.
The important factor is that Italy is still not working with the Ottomans, despite the fact that they should be forming a united front against the French as they roll through Northern Europe.
Should be.
Should be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if Uber had done press with the Ottomans.
I gotta say though, looking pretty good for me. You know, I personally like the moves of most of these powers here.
Also,
But,
in
yeah,
other
I can't
other news, this is not game related. I'm just watching Thursday Night Football at the same time, and the Bengals are about to beat the Steelers. So, you know.
Oh, finally.
I don't know how.
Nice.
They have Joe Flacco. Anyways, back to diplomacy. Yes, this is a
Something about Joe Flacco.
I don't know what it is about him.
He always does this.
Isn't
He
this a
finds some
fun
way
spot
to
to be
be
in?
like a starter, despite being how old is he? Like 40? That feels about right.
It's like Brady, but like not quite Brady because Brady was the best ever.
I mean, he did win a Super Bowl, didn't he?
Yeah, but Brady won 7, so I think my comparison stands.
True. Yeah.
I'm a Pats fan, so
Just like a little bit more.
Anyway.
all right. We discussed fall moves then.
Yeah, we can go to fall.
Yeah.
All right.
And
I just take dots here.
Hey, would you look at that?
as do the others.
It turns out.
Yeah,
I don't worry.
and-
I told Spain that Cell was gonna go to North America to get builds there, so it's
I
all
will
good.
I will remind you that there are several obstacles in the way of that.
No. Don't. It's
Like,
fine. It's
literally,
fine. No,
it's
no.
physically
Those aren't a worry at
impossible.
all.
Physically
No,
impossible for you
no,
to get across to North
no.
America because there's
I'm gonna go and
still
get
a
builds there.
Union
It's fine.
there's still a Union fleet right in the way enforcing the Monroe Doctrine.
No.
Yep.
See, I'm just gonna like walk from Cell over to like Washington or like Montreal, and that's what that fleet's doing. There's no other reason for me to be there.
Apparently.
Uh-huh.
I ignore the open dot that is just to its north.
Dublin. Yes.
Yeah.
I do also think that this is the point where Super decides that the Ottoman position is too good to just be allowed to gunboat.
We got a sub. Lady
like this
Razor.
Ottoman's position.
Lady Razor.
Like at this point, I think the Ottomans are bigger than Italy, aren't they? Are they bigger than Italy?
About the
I know,
same
'cause
size, I
Middle
think.
Europe is.
I'm not
Let's see, that's
sure, but
4,
I'm not sure if they're bigger, but Ottomans definitely have a much better chance to win the game.
11. Yeah, Italy is on 11 here, and the Ottomans are at. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Ottomans are also at 11.
Yep.
Yes. I absolutely would agree that the Ottoman position is worth getting a player for if Spain was trying to extend the game in any capacity.
Well,
Like what
so
Which-
hello?
funny thing
Hello?
happens actually.
Hello, you have an army
No,
right
no,
here.
Spain is my
Hello?
friend. I don't know what
He's
you're
just
on.
a chill guy.
No,
He's
why
just a
would
chill
they go
guy.
there? Why would they go there? It makes no sense.
Spain's on siesta.
Permanent siesta.
Soon enough, it will
So
be
funny
permanent.
thing
Yeah,
that
this
happens
rate.
between this year and next, actually. Spain goes to DipCon up in Chicago, and the phase takes like a week now because it got delayed because of that.
Superstition goes to DipCon, not Spain.
Yeah. So like Spain also goes there.
Spain does?
He has a great time, and he comes back to this game. We can go to like the builds map actually, but he comes back to this, and he decides that he wants to like try to like bring it back, to like extend the game and maybe win. Just like a turn too late.
Too late.
Spain's now playing to win instead of just playing.
He gets
Too late.
nothing. He loses.
You get
Good day,
nothing.
sir.
Yeah, exactly. You lose.
Yep. So now like a genuine like the Ottomans got a sub. They sent me one message to open press with. I
There's no point
responded to that
messaging at this
message,
point.
and then it took a whole week to get a response back to that. So
No reason to message you at this point,
the
so.
Ottomans are like pretty safely against me. I feel pretty confident in
Assume,
saying
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it makes sense. So
a fun fact, because I actually, so on the 62 video that Diplostrats did, I did see in the comments that Superstition noted that we do actually have, there is art done for this variant for like the Centers leaderboard. And the
Lady
Ottoman
Razor
sub,
is the one that draws that, yeah.
and the Ottoman sub was
True,
Lady
I forgot
Razor.
about that. Yeah.
We got the artist in right at the end.
Yep. They're also the person like writes 1862 or not 80, like they write stuff for the like diplomacy newsletter, I think. I remember that I wrote one like I like wrote one for that and like submitted it to them after I won the tournament last year. So they do that too.
Yep. pretty big name to sub into the end of one of the games of all time
Speaking of the
with all
end,
that happened in it.
let's get to the end. So what happens in spring? Oh, would you look at
Yes.
that? Salt walks into a dot, and oh, look at that! Salt has
It's fall.
eyes and bounces them out of.
That is fall. Where
That's
that's
fall.
spoilers.
That's
is
not fall.
fall.
That's not fall.
That is spring.
But you are correct. I
I
do
mean,
have
You do
eyes.
have eyes.
I look at the map. I see the one way that I lose is that Spain walks into Octania there, and I never thought Spain would actually go for this. In my mind, Spain is still like doesn't realize that I'm about to win it all. Doesn't care about the game. I have no idea that Spain has like now cares about trying to win. I just saw that if Spain walks in here, then I just lose. So I didn't think Spain would actually do this. I just covered it just to be sure. And surprisingly, it matters. And I hold
Yep.
Sal because I'm not dumb.
Yep.
Yep.
I just take the blend and fall, so I will.
If only Spain had kept some of these units up here.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel like, yeah, the Spain player did need like a break to reset their mind. I feel like at this point everyone was running on fumes, and only Spain really took the week to take a break. I feel.
Yeah, I remember I was reading through some of the chats at the end here, and nobody here thought that I would cover Auk. They thought that was like guaranteed to get in.
I knew you would cover
and
Auk.
that it would just be free.
curious. I was like, oh, so we'll look at this position to be like, oh, the only way I lose is if Spain just walks up and takes Paris.
Yep. And so I cover that. As a
you should.
normal person does. And I'm covering Sweden as well, because I see that the Ottomans are going to have 2 armies on that now. I'm no longer trying to like hold the front line, though I am trying to hold it a little bit. I'm just trying to like cover against ways that I could lose. So that's kind of how I'm doing this now.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens.
And yeah,
in
we
fall.
can.
There's nothing.
Yeah, the
else.
only way I lose here is if a throw occurs, and it does not.
They did think about it, and we were in spec chat like, oh, I wonder if there could be an overthrow, and then nobody did any press, and so the game ended.
Yep.
Spain tried to. Spain saw
Spain
it and
tried.
proposed the throw to the Italians, but the Italians thought I was on 13 and not 14, and so they didn't think to take the
See,
take
the problem with that analysis is the problem. No, the problem with that analysis is that if the Italians think that you are 1 dot down and they are still getting offered a throw, they should take it and win. You take it and win.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what context. If you were offered a throw, you just take it. The answer is always yes.
Actually, in one context, you don't. Actually,
well,
in one context, exactly one context, you don't take the throw.
In 99% of context, you take it.
All right.
Yes, but yes.
Well. Yep.
We had the 1% of context that's happened. Yes.
The final position of 1862.
Yep.
Yeah. So there we are. France somehow wobbles their way to a win.
Yep. The Ottomans end the game on 13 centers. Oh,
yep.
they could have easily thrown to the Ottomans, and the Ottomans might have actually been able to tie you if they went after Budapest and Tripoli.
Yeah, Italy
go back to
could have too. They need like Spain to support them to like the North African dots, and for Ottomans to also throw a dot to Italy.
Well,
I think that's like the main plan that Spain sent.
Oh no, I see the route. So so in spring I see that. Yep, in spring the Ottomans didn't move Bucharest backfill to Galicia, and if they had moved if they had convoyed Constantinople over to and so it is, we'll get more units on the front line. They could take Budapest here and then walk into Athens, and that would have prolonged the game.
There are a million ways to
the game
if they really want to, but nobody did.
Yeah, nobody did press. Nobody coordinated. Nobody figured, hey, Salt's really about to win. We need to count centers. They were not wearing their glasses.
Spain
A common theme
had
throughout this
it
game.
right, went to the Italians, and then they said that no, I actually don't have enough to win. And Spain just said okay, and that's how that
Yep.
conversation went.
Yep.
Yep.
A comedy of errors.
Yeah, but I got me a win, so can't really
Yep.
complain too much about that.
And what was the year of this victory?
You know,
What was the year actually? I forgot.
casual.
I know it's
I
way
feel
too
like
high.
Casual.
it feels like
1873.
74 is possible.
I think
1873.
it's 72.
This was 1873.
73.
73?
73.
73.
Yep.
After 1873. This is at the end of 1873.
So yeah, which is, I think, is that the longest that a game of 1862 has ever gone?
It might be actually 11 years. I don't think we've seen a game go that long in a
12.
while.
It'd be 12 though. Well,
True.
yeah, because
Yeah, because like usually what happens is like a colonial blacks out first, and that really speeds up the
Yep.
other maps, but that didn't happen
instead
here.
we had 3 regional blackouts and a colonial who had basically turned into an African regional.
Yeah, and then me, who was basically a regional the whole game.
Yep.
Does work
Yeah.
out that way.
All right. Well, don't throw games for no reason, kids. I call dibs on actually having won 1862 this year.
You do deserve it, I think.
And
I actually won.
maybe next time around, Japan will see China's border wide open and do something about it.
No.
Actually,
Maybe.
I went through and I checked the voids, and the original Japan player was planning on stabbing at roughly the time where the sub should have stabbed. And the sub, I'm going to pull up. This is sort of putting someone on blast, but it's very funny. If we pull up the Japan void,
I will wait for you to post a screenshot so I can put it into the video.
I'm going to include a bit from the original Japan player. Going to go back to timestamp of the last 4 days he had of being in the void before substituting out, then substituting out, and then the singular message. Actually, I can expand this screenshot ever so slightly to accentuate this point of the drop-off in player quality between the original Japan player and the substitute. Because it's not usually a correlation between frequency or quality of void and quality of player, but it is a strong correlation I have noticed.
Yeah.
The
player base really did suffer a lot during this run, I think.
Yeah,
Yep.
if only Argentina hadn't subbed out, then maybe things would have been a lot better.
Yeah, last year had a similar issue with a lot of the players just not being around.
Yeah.
Well.
So there's that whole wall of analysis that the original Japan player does, and then the substitute says one line for their whole tenure in the game.
Yikes.
What can you do? Well, you could try, but
Yep. This does also put an exact timestamp to when Japan subbed out. They subbed out immediately after Russia's retreat that got them Edo. So that's a fun thing to tie in back into the first video.
you don't say.
But yeah, I think that is everything.
All right, I do believe we concluded 1862. So what we have technically second, effectively first. I'm going to crown myself. Not salty at all, I promise. We got Salt here, who's the expert, and we got
Totally.
we got fourth and fifth. So we got a winner's circle here.
Yeah.
Although I think China
Yep.
effectively is, you're effectively third, I think, because I think England still would have jumped over you, but maybe not.
Yeah,
It's hard to
And I
England
take
England would have
fifth.
leapfrog. I mean, if it had been on the timescale that we had worked out, it would have been first, second. So without the throw, it would
Yes.
have been first
Actually,
and
yeah,
second.
you're right. Yeah, first and second without the throw. So there we go.
Yeah, because that throw was what gave England time to clean up Africa. But yeah, that's all from us, I believe.
Yeah, thank you both for joining me. I think on that
Of
note,
course.
that will conclude 18 or the after action report. Only took 6 hours and 40 minutes total. So, or I guess 7 hours really, because it was 3 hours 12, and then it's 3:40. So 7 hours. All
Only
right.
7 hours.
Well, thanks everyone who stuck to the end.
Honestly,
And,
pretty good time for 3 of us.
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good night.
See ya.